this would have been his best chance. But
his senatorial district is a big loss.
No, it's a no-go area.
Big loss.
He had that place locked down. Nobody could defeat him in that place. No matter who you are. Once you go against, once you come up against Ifeanyi Ubah, you know you cannot win.
In any election.
Defeated incumbent senators, you know. And today, when we look back at his strengths, many people will say that perhaps the most difficult opponent that will have come the way of Governor Soludo is gone. And I believe too, because maybe after today we'll not be talking about someone else, but this was the person who could have given him a run for his money because, look, he was popular as in being popular, and he had the war chest. There was a time that he had the biggest petrol tank farm in our country. We wonder even the NNPC, they were using his facility to store petrol, you know, imported petrol. So he's a man, despite his age, you will say that he lived a very successful life. It's just unfortunate that he did not grow really old before death took him, you know. At least not unlike Nwanya, who also died the same week. The Ohanese leader. One thing, you see, there are two things that this man did that I would say have given him immortality. Because it is what we do in life for our people that will make the world remember us long when we are gone. Ifeanyi Ubah and Eze Chukwuemeka Eri of Enugu Aguleri, that is the community where the Igbos emanated from, like the Ile-Ife, or Ile-Ife of the East. Ifeanyi Ubah accompanied that traditional ruler to the DSS detention facility to extract a commitment from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to stop the sit-at-home exercise. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, in his own hand, wrote that the Monday sit-at-home had become a thing of the past. It takes courage to walk up to such a man and convince him, look, do this for your people. He did that successfully. Today, we have the Southeast Development Commission. That was a bill that he proposed. He came up with that bill. It was shut down under the Buhari regime. He represented it under the Tinubu regime. Today, that bill has been signed into law by the president. That, in my view, was Ifeanyi Ubah's last gift to his people. And this is something for which he will be remembered. Because if we talk about the fact that the Southeast have been neglected for so long, you know, ecological damage here and there, through the instrumentality of the Southeast Development Commission, it is hoped that those problems can be addressed the way through the NDDC we are addressing the problems of the oil-producing communities. So we wish him a blissful rest in the bosom of our Lord.
Sad indeed.
It's really
Very
sad.
Very sad. Very sad. Moving on now. In modern-day business, the need for innovation and accelerated growth makes strategic partnership essential to strengthen strategic partnerships and build trust. The TVC Communications delegation hits the ground running on the second day of the tour by visiting the Minister of Works and National Orientation Agency. They also visited the Minister of State for Agriculture as well as the Chief of Air Staff, the CEO and the GMD of TVC Communications, Victoria Ajayi, who led the delegation, said these visits are crucial for forging stronger ties and ensuring that accurate and reliable information reach the public. Let's share the story by TVC News, Uloma Oyemachi. with you.
TVC team, led by the CEO and Group Managing Director Victoria Ajayi, is back on the move for another day of their courtesy visit in Abuja. Understanding the power of communication in shaping public perception and fostering patriotism, the team made a significant stop at the National Orientation Agency, NOA. Here, Mrs. Victoria Ajayi laid out the mission of the trip, blending the strengths of public and private communication.
We're almost like joined in the hip. NOA and the media will work hand in hand to ensure the right, accurate information is propagated to the Nigerian populace.
In response, the DG of NOA proudly unveiled their latest innovations, including a cutting-edge AI technology designed to keep Nigerians updated.
Can you tell me some of the values deployed by the NOA?
Certainly, here are some of the values deployed by the National Orientation Agency, NOA. Introducing citizenship study as a compulsory subject from primary school to university to instill value orientation in children.
Summarizing NOA's objectives, he introduced the lucky number 7, which is a national value charter set to be launched, noting that 3 of these key initiatives are already in progress.
Probably the next FREC meeting is part of what they will consider to make a policy statement on introducing citizenship study as compulsory subject from primary school to university. We are introducing what we call citizen brigades in primary and secondary school. So we are starting with 37,000 this year, 1,000 per state. We are proposing to FEC to nationalize cartoon content, so that at least 70% of the cartoons in this country will be about us, about our values.
The next destination for the team was the office of the Minister of Works, who was in a festive mood celebrating his 61st birthday. He attributed his drive and success to his dedicated team and promised even greater achievements ahead. To the skeptics, he had a straightforward message: realign your priorities for the sake of national progress.
We are not working here as ministry staff. We are working as members of one family, and if you don't have a good PAM secretary, you won't achieve much. I was looking at the video of our concrete road technology from Sokoto, where they have done over 10 kilometers, and I was so satisfied, because the good thing about this is that once it is done, for the next 50 to 100 years, you don't need to do it again, and that is what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be remembered for.
The Permanent Secretary joined in, spotlighting the ministry's major accomplishments and clarifying the cost-saving benefits of using concrete for infrastructure projects.
Kaduna to Abuja is a nightmare, and it has been ongoing with a lot of augmentation, a lot of variation in prices. That's what we call BOP. So this administration now said, look, why not introduce the new technology that has been practicalized in other places in Nigeria, the concrete technology. This is a technology that can last, if you put it on a road, the concrete road, can last 100 years.
He also shared the challenges faced by the ministry, and to Nigerians, he said, trust the process.
There is no country that has enough funding for projects. They are unending. But the president and this government is trying, with the little resources coming into us, be you from the southeast, be you from the southwest, south-south, northeast, northwest, or north central, this government will reach you wherever you are.
With these strategic partnerships, TVC Communications is poised to ignite transformative change across Nigeria. It was another busy day for the TVC Communications team as they visited key government agencies. A notable stop was at the Nigerian Air Force, a cornerstone of the nation's defense. The Chief of Air Staff welcomed TVC's enthusiasm in their ongoing partnership.
Chief of Air Staff, our esteemed guest, is here on a
He also shared insights on the past year's challenges and highlighted the crucial role of accurate media coverage in addressing these issues.
The importance of the media, especially for us, for the services cannot be overemphasized. The Nigerian Air Force is undergoing a lot of transformation, fleet modernization, and a lot of innovations going on currently. So these are very important, very interesting times for the Nigerian Air Force. The past 1 year, we have had 10 aircraft of different types being inducted into the inventory of Nigerian Air Force. And better even is that in the next 6 months to 1 year, we'll have a lot more that are coming in.
A highlight of the visit was the showcase of strategic archives aimed at preserving the rich history and activities of the Nigerian Air Force.
Nutrition branch, we have several directorates under them, and this is the Directorate of Public Relations, as you can see here. This is the current director.
It's making me look like I really had a good
Another crucial stop for the crew was the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. This visit was especially important given the current concerns over food security and how the media can help drive positive changes in this sector. Both ministers present shared recent efforts and strategies, emphasizing that all hands are on deck to ensure food security.
Mr. President has laid in place programs that are geared towards cultivating more land, preparing more land, increase yield, quality seeds. Right now, about 4 programs that I lined up. 2 have passed the Federal Executive Council. One is the Greener Hope Mechanization Program, which seeks to employ over 1,000 service centers. Mr. President has graciously donated 2,150,000 bags of fertilizer, which is ongoing now. Distribution is ongoing.
We also need to make it clear that there are things that are external to our own sector, but they play tangential role in contributing to the food inflation crisis that is being seen. With all the mechanization program he has reeled out, our target is to reach the global average of 2.5 horsepower per hectare. Governors are taking agriculture very seriously, and the other subnationals too are coming, gradually on board. Like he has mentioned, some of the states that are already star states.
The team presented a plaque to the ministers, reinforcing their commitment to partnership. With each stop, the TVC delegation gained invaluable insights, solidifying partnerships and opening up a new vista of collaboration for a better future. Uloma Oyemachi, TVC News, Abuja.
Jide, last week was quite busy for the management of TVC Communications led by Victoria Ajayi.
Yes, these are challenging times, and every media outlet must seek for ways of keeping its head above the murky waters. If you do not do that, you will soon become history. Because just like the manufacturing sector is facing challenges, the media outlets are not insulated. These all have a lot to do with the depreciation of the Nigerian economy. So the more friends, the more business friends you can make, the more partnerships you can build, the more collaboration with critical stakeholders you can forge, the greater your chances of staying alive, if I can put it in that direct way. So, and that's why we sought out to reach out to our friends and remind them that we are here, we are available for business, and that there are rooms for collaboration, between us. In this age and time, if you do not blow your trumpet, nobody will blow it for you. So there are many of these government agencies that are doing a lot, but because they do not get enough publicity. Nigerians do not know that they are doing so much. So TVC is available to be used by them to propagate what they are doing to achieve the mandate of the president. So that is why we went to those places, and we chose the places we went to in terms of how important they are in the grand scheme of things in our country. Look at agriculture, for example. Everyone talks about hunger and all that. There is a big role that the Ministry of Agri can play in helping us to defeat not just food inflation, but food insecurity. So we went there. And then this is the best time to mobilize our people to play their part in nation building. So we went to National Orientation Agency, and I dare say there is a lot that the man at the helm, Larry Saunilu, is doing that our people do not know. For example, you look at our country, the bulk of the content on TV for kids, they are foreign content, you know. And that's why they are, yes, I can say almost 100%.
Because when you watch on DSTV,
it was very much unlike what we had when we were growing up. These programs on NTA where they would tell us folk
Tales by Moonlight.
Tales by Moonlight, tell us stories, you know.
Yes.
Those things had the way of shaping the
behavioral
conduct of children. But when you subject us to foreign content, subject the children to foreign content, they try to kind of pollute the minds of our young people. I've seen content, for example, telling children to be receptive to ideas like gay marriage and the rest of them. Content shown on Nigerian TV. So if you continue to allow the children to watch such content, our children, it will damage them irreparably, and they will see nothing wrong in same-sex marriage. We don't want that, and I'm happy that at NOA they already have plans, you know, to do something about that. They are trying to create cartoon content that are indigenous in nature, and they are also trying to come up with citizenship studies to make it compulsory in school so that people can know about their country, know their responsibilities to their country, see what roles they need to play to help build the Nigeria of our dream. So I really hope that the NOA can be better funded because they have a big role to play in today's Nigeria. You know, they need, and they are present in all 774 local governments.
It's time that government will take a special look at
you know, remember MAMSA? MAMSA was on every lip.
Yes.
But at that time, MAMSA had funding.
Effective. Yes.
MAMSA had funding. But these days, the NOA does not have that kind of funding. Yet Nigerians blame them. They keep asking, what is NOA doing? What is NOA doing? You can't do so much if you are not effectively funded. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. Femi, we've left the era of, you know, TV, money just coming like that. There's competition. The agencies are embattled. Those ones, you know, it used to be the agencies funding television. So right now you have to really diversify.
Yes, I think the management of TVC Communications, you know, should be commended for stepping out of their comfort zone, going out to meet these policymakers, the people who have the influence to shape the society, you know, to talk to them. And it's also, you know, good to see the enthusiasm on the part of these officials visited. They also know the importance of this visit, and, you know, they opened their doors explaining what they do, because all of these things are important. A lot of them do so much, but poorly communicate that to the public. If there's that proper communication using a veritable channel like TVC News to send all of this information out, probably what we even have about this hunger strike, all of these planned protests would not even be the case. People would be able to understand what government is doing and see the need to also support our government. So it's a good one, and we also urge these places we have visited to also reciprocate by ensuring that they strengthen that partnership with TVC Communications, which will be key in also helping them achieve that mandate that they have been assigned to do.
All right, moving on now. Exemplary leadership is not just defined by good speeches and presentations, but characterized by the ability to make lasting impacts in people's lives. In acknowledging this, the Ekiti State Caucus of the All Progressive Congress, APC, has commended the outstanding strides of Governor Abiodun Abayomi Oyebanji Bao and endorsed him for a second term in office. The caucus, which is the highest decision-making body of the party, says Governor Oyebanji has represented them well and thus deserves re-election. Jide, this is quite good, because the person of Bao, in terms of accessibility, humility, he has demystified governorship. Yes. That seat, the seat of Ekiti State Governor, is so accessible.
And he's made himself a governor for all. He's reached out to the opposition. The rate at which that man is going,
I don't know what will happen during the election.
They will be heading into that election, more or less, with Ekiti looking like a one-party state.
Honestly.
Because even the key players in the various parties,
opposition party,
they are, I can tell you, by the time the election comes, those key players in the opposition will be endorsing him.
Yeah.
Because he reached out to them so early. He's such a man full of wisdom. He reached out to them so early, so you cannot say, oh, he did it because he wanted their support. He's looking for votes.
He did this so early.
He did this so early. Going to Fayoshe, going to Ojudu, people that I felt were justifiably aggrieved. He reached out to them from within the APC, from outside of the APC. So today, you have a governor who sees himself as the father of all, and is relating to everyone like a brother. It's not adversarial in nature. His arms are long enough to embrace everyone and get everyone to jump in and help develop the state. That is what he's doing. And in terms of workers' welfare, they tell me that it's very similar to the former governor of the state, Segun. So he combines the innate character of Segun with that of Fayoshe in terms of pragmatism. Because Fayoshe is prepared to visit a project site at 10 p.m. to know whether a contractor...
Hands-on.
Yes, at least I was with him one time when he visited a road project around 10 p.m. I was on the entourage. He wanted to catch them unawares, and he succeeded. So he too is very similar. And this person will also go to the grassroots, have meetings at ward level. How many governors will do that?
Go to his former tailors.
He went to the principal. He went to his principal, his own principal. He went to the man's house. He didn't send for the man. I've seen people who send for such people and give them some money. He went there. You see, just to remind the man that, look, what you did for me, no matter who I have become today, I have not forgotten. So he's a true Omoluabi in every sense of the word. And look, the rewards are already coming for him. The elections are not around the corner. But it's like the APC caucus for Ekiti State. They made up their mind so early that, look, We have
there's no vacancy.
No vacancy in this office. This is the man, and we'll continue to support him. I really want to commend him even for the peace that reigns in that state. You hardly hear the sort of stories we hear about other states, about Ekiti, because this man is a steady hand, guiding the affairs of the state in the best way that he can, and people are happy with him. Go and read Ojudu's testimony about him. Femi Ojudu, my boss, is not the sort of person who is so impressionable, you understand, or who lavishes praise on people in an extravagant manner. No. But if Ojudu can publicly say that this fellow is good, then we need to take a second look at that person. Because he can be very honest in assessing our public figures. So I'm happy for Governor Yebanji, and this is to wish him Godspeed as he continues to pilot the affairs of my former state.
This is less, is a governor that is less controversial. You know, it doesn't cause controversy, modest in appearance, talks less, believe in action.
Yes, less talk, more work. That's what best describes him, you know. And he's not also one of those governors that I would say frequents or are frequently in Abuja. He's not one of those that you see in the corridors of the presidential villa coming to see the president week in, week out. He's basically always in a state focused on governance. And even when the new minimum wage bill was passed, he was also one of those that said, one of the few governors that said he would do everything possible to pay the minimum wage. We know that Ekiti State is
down the ladder
in terms of the allocation they get from the federal purse, including their IGR, you know. But he is already looking inward to see how they can ramp up revenue and ensure that, you know, these are minimum wages paid to workers. So it's a good one for Ekiti State. And of course, there's also a re-election coming. He's already done the job to deserve a re-election.
Now, looking at, in terms of his people, some people will say that, look, there's pervasive poverty in that state, as all over Nigeria, that they want him to concentrate more on human capital development.
Yes, that's a good suggestion. And I don't think that is something that the governor will take lightly. He is also a good manager of the scarce resources at his disposal. Remember when states began to get paid far more money as a result of the removal of subsidy? This governor came out to say, okay, let's do it this way. These public institutions, we are going to increase their subvention. So Ekiti State University, let me give Ekiti State University, let me use Ekiti State University as a suggestion, as an illustration. If Ekiti State University was getting 10 billion, that's just a suggestion as their subvention. As a result of the increase in allocation, the funds coming from FAC, the governor then increased their subvention, increased the allocation also to the judiciary and to some of the state's departments and agencies, so that they can be in a better position to perform better. So that's why I credit him as a good utilizer of even the scarce resources at the disposal of the state. Ekiti State is not out of the woods yet, but at least with the resources at their disposal, we see a governor trying to do things differently. We see a governor bringing everyone together. We see a governor who is not controversial in nature. He just focused on his work and galvanizing his people to develop the state. I visited the Kogosi one spring, about 2 weeks ago, along with my management of TVC. It was such a beautiful place. And that's the hometown of the governor. So you can bet that he's going to do a lot more to turn that place to a veritable tourist
major
destination.
Tourist site in the Ekiti State.
Yes. So we're looking forward to even greater achievements on the part of this governor.
Femi, in terms of IGR, these governors, a lot of people are clamoring that governors should do more. That governors should do more in terms of IGR so that they will be able to, pay the new minimum wage.
Yeah. Well, he has, as I said earlier, he has already said that he will do everything possible to ensure that that new minimum wage Ekiti State is able to pay. You also recall that the 30,000 minimum wage, not all states were able to pay that. Yes, so this one
consequential adjustments.
Yes, this one will really be a bit challenging for some state governors, even though they are getting more allocation now from the
subsidy.
Yes, from the federal pockets now. But for him in his state, beyond just paying minimum wage, there are also programs he has introduced to ensure jobs are created for the youth in Ekiti State. There's also this social welfare program in Ekiti State that is very popular. The old people, they get stipends just to keep. Yes, and he has also been able to sustain it. Yes, and that has been able to help the old people in that state keep body and soul together, and also get their support, which is very, very important. He's been able to get the support of critical key stakeholders and critical groups in Ekiti State, and that has also helped in keeping the country, the state together and peaceful.
All right. Desperate times call for desperate measures as Nigeria continues to grapple with the challenge of feeding its growing population. A sustainable agric production and food security coach, Saidat Shonoiki, has recommended family farming and organic agriculture as the ways out. Now, speaking during a two-day workshop in Abuja with the team, the principles and practice of organic agriculture, Shonoiki urged Nigerians to return to the old but ever-relevant strategy of growing their own food in small gardens to promote food security and healthy food consumption. Senator Remi Tinubu said something like this some weeks back.
Yes, in my interview with the governor of Sokoto of Kogi State, he said his wife suddenly started a garden in their backyard, and he asked her what's going on. And that she said, our mommy, the first lady of Nigeria, has demanded that all of us must have a garden. Each of us must have a garden. And that she does not want Senator Oluremi Tinubu to pay a sudden visit to her and discover that she didn't have a garden. So the First Lady of Kogi State, Mrs. Ododo, already has a garden at the back of her home. Some of us have adopted that, and we even want to take it a little further. I've seen people say, how about those who do not have space?
Space, yeah.
Of course, no one is saying everyone must have a garden. It is not practicable for everyone to have a garden.
You might not have the...
But I gave an example. The people who have and who do not think that it makes sense to have, the people who have the capacity, to run a small garden, who think that it does not make any sense, they are the ones that we are referring to. We are not saying everybody go and do a garden. It's not practicable. For example, as the son of a king in my community, I have access to land.
So
but yet I didn't do any farm in my community. But my younger brother did a farm, grew cassava, grew yam, and from the yam that was harvested, my mother sent to each of us her children from our own brother's sweat. We didn't give him money. Oh. We didn't take it upon ourselves to also go and do our own farm. And we have land, though. But somebody did it. He didn't do it in commercial quantity. But our mommy,
just for the family.
Our mommy then took from the harvest and sent to each and every one of us. So this is what, if you will plant maybe 600 tubers of yam, for example, if he does that, at the end of the day, you can, and a lot more people do that. There's no way
out of every 10.
There's no way we won't be doing our best to defeat food insecurity. And then she's also saying, look, instead of the chemical fertilizers that we are all familiar with, organic fertilizers, organic manures, they are best. You have cow dung, for example, with fantastic fertilizer. Horse dung. In fact, a lot of people now use horse dung to fertilize their crops. One, it doesn't smell. Horse dung doesn't smell. What is it called? Chicken dung smells. That of cow smells. But that of horse does not smell at all. So a lot of people, that's what they use in planting flowers in their homes. And it's also good for other crops because I've used it for my pepper, for my tomatoes within my yard. So if we all commit to promoting agriculture, even within your home, you'll be able to eat fresh vegetables, pluck your okra and eat. That will reduce the rate of hunger in the country, because if we embark on massive agri-production, it will definitely bring down prices. That is what the expert is saying. Of course, the other angle is the adoption of family planning. Every sensible person should know that at this stage, it is not a clarion call to go and be
football team.
And be raising football teams within your home.
School fees.
At the rate we are going. There was somebody that I was talking to. People who are still struggling, they still ask you for money. And then you went and had a fourth child. I said, what is wrong with you? Come on, stop it. What is the meaning of this? You do not even have enough money to raise two of them.
To sustain
two, and you have 4. So she doesn't even need to tell us that, look, food security, one of the ways by which we can address it is to reduce the rate at which we are procreating. They said we are going to be 250 million or so. Abi, is it 300 million by the year 2050? Abi?
Somebody, 300 million because we have more than 200
so we just have to do something about it. It's interesting. In Russia, they are paying people to have children. They are paying them. In France, they are paying couples.
They adopted that in China to control their population.
In our own case. No, I'm saying that they give them money.
Yes,
because
they've controlled it.
Population also helps with economic growth. So they give them money. Please, have children. In Russia, in France, please, have children. Because some couple, they get married, they tell themselves, we won't have any child.
Yeah,
and they will stick to it. So they are now saying, okay, in our own case, we really have to do something about it because the population is overstretching the resources available.
Honestly.
We cannot continue along. We won't be able to feed our people if we continue along this line.
Femi, it's been difficult to conduct a population census. Yeah. But right now, we know that there's problem.
Yeah.
We're stretched.
We're stretched. I know.
Population is...
Yes, and then food, again, is that very important thing that we need to keep going. Like we're talking about the First Lady's project, which is one home, a garden. She believes that with subsistence farming, everyone will be able to, just get the basic food items, especially vegetables and some other food items that you need to just feed, and she wants women now to drive this initiative of ensuring that with that little garden in their house, they can get just some basic things that they need to prepare meals to put on the table to eat. It already has a 25 million naira prize competition, and we hear that a lot of women are already showing interest in these. A lot of them are behind their houses now, bending down to farm and doing videos, sending into making entries for that competition to win the 25 million. But beyond the money, at the end of the day, it's a practice that should be cultivated by everyone. The government has been hard on ensuring that we grow what we eat, and by the time we begin to grow what we eat, we won't be at the mercies of the traders in the market who have formed an association and raised or fixed prices of food at a very exorbitant rate out of the reach of the common man. By the time you're not at their mercy, they too will be forced to crash these food prices. So it's going to go a long way in helping reduce the rising food inflation and also help fight food security or food insecurity.
Judy, another problem we are faced with is that a lot of Nigerians, maybe some Nigerians, most Nigerians down south, who believe that it's all about going to university and after school looking for a white-collar job. The orientation is not there yet that, look, farming is something that we can take up, and our youth should be encouraged to say, look, I want to be a farmer.
It's the government that I'll blame for this. If we make agri-production attractive to young people, of course they are going to take to it, especially in this season of rampant unemployment. But if you have made it unattractive, then the farming population will continue to age. What we have now is an aging farming population because people who are above, who are below 60, they are really not interested in farming.
Young people don't want to.
Except in the North Central, a good number of people farming are women, and even those ones too are aging. When I went to Jos and I did a documentary on Irish potato farming, I saw that it was the women that were actually involved. Men were not interested. And those women said they've been farming for more than 20 years. That means they are not young anymore. So if you embrace mechanized farming, you say, okay, we want to cultivate 600 hectares of land, for example. You help tractorize their feeds. You provide good varieties of seedlings, high-yield seedlings. You provide fertilizers. There's no way young people will not want to get involved. You can't continue to farm in the way that we farm, using hoes and all that. These days, you must tractorize feeds. You must get harvesters. Harvesters, all kinds of harvesters that will do in one day what some people will do in 30 days. So if you will do all of that, honestly, I'm sure that young people will come in. I want to see that experiment implemented in Niger State, for example, one of the states that is really leading in the area of agriculture now. The governor has shown that he's focused. So, but he too needs to freshen up the population of farmers with younger people, get them involved, give them incentives. Let them realize that we can't all be white collar, we can't all be doing white collar jobs, and government cannot employ everybody.
Everybody, at all.
Farming is still the highest employer of labor in Nigeria, and it still gives the highest GDP. It still contributes the highest GDP. So we must embrace farming. Before we started making so much money from oil in the 60s, it was farming that was giving us all the money. Awolowo did all of what he did with money from cash crops. So where did we go wrong that now we cannot, if we do not see oil, it's oil that we are talking about, we are almost beating ourselves up over Dangote, no, we have to go back to the past. Where did we get it wrong? And really, we have to go back to farming.
Femi, to make this attractive, government must do something.
Yes, indeed. It's a big problem because the farming population we have in Nigeria, they are aging. I remember doing a story on cocoa farmers in Ondo State. Yes, if you go to some of the associations and you see the cocoa farmers, they are old men. Some of them are even in their 70s, and there are no
children are not.
Yeah, there's no succession plan now. The children are
going to the urban centers.
Yeah, some of them have moved out of these farming communities to the urban centers. Some of them have even jackpot. Some of them have left the country. So it means that before, when we used to be a big producer of cocoa, we have even lost that. We have even lost that status as a major cocoa producer, and it might get worse in a few years' time. It might get really worse. So it's about putting incentives, in place to encourage young people to come into farming. And yes, we study agriculture in school, but it appears as if it's just the theory. Most of the agriculture students in school don't even really get to the farm, don't even really get their hands on some of these farm implements and understand farm.
You are just the degree that you are looking for.
Yes, it's just
they don't practice it.
Just to get the job and move on and get a better and get another life different from what is obtainable on the farmland. So it's really something that I'm very serious to get young people interested in farming. How the government will do that, well, it remains to be seen, but I think it's something that should be prioritized.
All right, we'll take this break. When we come back, we'll talk more. It's still Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We'll be right back after this breather. Please don't go away.
Years old. I'm currently in Sudan and I make videos as someone who's still living in the war. This is probably the hardest video I will ever have to make because it's the anniversary of our war. It's been a year of ruthless violence, a year of death, a year of an apocalypse. No words in any dictionary in any language can ever be able to describe the horrors that we've seen and experienced and continue to experience to this day. Over 10 million people are displaced. 25 million people struggle with acute hunger. And death is, I don't even know how many people have died and how many people are still dying. But let me paint an image for you. Migratory birds have changed their route so they can come to Khartoum and feed on corpses. Khartoum, my city, my home, where I lived for 21 years, have become a haven for dogs to breed due to how many corpses are rotting over there. Cemeteries are filled to the brim. There are mass graves inside neighborhoods. My people are not comfortable. Dead or alive, we can still not honor our dead. For a whole year, I've been homeless. I've lost more than 5 family members. I've lost my home, my life assets, everything that we ever owned. My parents have worked for 40 years to provide for us, to build our house, to buy their cars, to do everything. And in a split of one day, they lost everything. Just last year, I had just graduated from uni. I was interning. I just started my life and I had hopes and dreams like any of you. And now, I'm not even sure if I'm alive. Because how are we alive when we lost everything that makes us human? When we lost our homes, when we lost our friends, when we lost our families, when we lost our life? Like, is this life? Is this living? Is living just breathing? Because I sure as hell don't feel like I'm alive. And I'm sick and tired of it. I'm not gonna ask you to do anything anymore. I don't want anything from any of you. I'm making those videos just for our pain to be acknowledged. I've lost hope in this world. I don't think anything will change. I don't think this war will stop. I don't think my people will ever be free. But I will not let you be comfortable as you turn a blind eye to our suffering. I will keep reminding you over and over that my people are getting killed for your gold. Times and times, Africans have been butchered and genocided for the benefit of the West. And enough of that. We are no longer stupid. We are no longer ignorant. We see through you. We see through your games. We see through your proxy wars. We see through those made-up conflicts that you have created in our continent so you can take our resources. I will not let you be comfortable. The RSF are a genocidal militia that is funded and aided by the UAE, Israel, and Russia so they can plunder our resources and take our gold.
you're just joining us, this is Journalist Hangout on Sunday, reaching you live from our Abuja studio here. And I have Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Femi Akonde still in the studio. Gentlemen, now, the long arm of the law is capable of catching anyone found wanting, regardless of position or status. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, affirms this principle by arresting and arraigning a senior immigration officer, Michael Akomolafe, serving at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, before a federal high court in Lagos. The immigration officer was arraigned alongside 3 others for alleged trafficking in 8 kilograms of methamphetamine and 7.6 kilograms of cannabis sativa, also known as marijuana. Just like the American statesman Theodore Roosevelt put it, no one is above the law and no one is below it. Jide, this is
this is really
alarming
perplexing.
Because
this is perplexing, and you know, every 12 potentially has a Judas. It's such a shame that General Buba Marwa is doing such a fantastic job at NDLA. Yet, we still have people within NDLA unmotivated, undaunted, and unprepared to help him to achieve his mandate. Their own is to see how they can make money using their position in NDLA. So if an NDLA official...
No, Jude, I think this is a senior immigration officer.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I said, Marwa, General Marwa, is doing so much. Yet within the group, within NDLA, there are people who are not motivated, who are not prepared to join him in achieving his mandate. That's the program. That's the point that I'm making.
But
why should? I mean, many people can be involved in drug trafficking, but why should it be NDLA officials? That is what makes this story perplexing. Why should it be NDLA officials? Despite the role that Marwa has been playing, if someone told you that within his own ranks, within the ranks of NDLA that he works for, where he has been such an exemplary leader, a senior official and 3 others who actually be involved in trafficking drugs, would you believe it? That's the most unlikely place where you want to imagine that such a thing will happen. And that's to tell you that in our country, there are bad eggs all over the place. Every profession has got them. What we should continue to do is to depopulate our agencies of people like this so that they do not infect others with their horrible behavior. I pray that the long arm of the law, having now caught him, justice will not take so long to be served. Because when justice takes so long to be served, people tend to even forget that such a thing happened. So, but if we serve justice quickly, we will be sending the right message to other people like these persons, that look, if you do it, you will not be spared. So, General Marwa should continue to look at some of the people, look within his own agency for these baddest, because they will continue to sabotage his success if he does not get them out of the system.
All right. We quickly take this breather. When we come back, we'll talk more. Please stay away. Stay with us. So, Femi, it's like a cartel within, the security agencies. These drug people, they have the people they reach out to, even within the NDLE, within the immigration, even, we have their people if they want to smoke.
Let me just correct the information that I just got now, that this person was actually not an NDLE official, but he's an immigration officer. But it's bad enough if uniformed men who are supposed to...
like at the airport now, they have all these
they
people.
work together.
Yes.
So,
if you are moving out, they will shield you. Femi.
Yes, it's sad to see that, a senior officer like that will use his access and privilege, to still contravene laws and set down rules. And it's also, if you go to the airport and most of all of these exit points out of the country, you see that sometimes with just a little token, they would allow you even get away with murder. They can just, rather than allow you go through the normal checks, normal scrutiny and all of that, if you just can part away with some little box, they would just give you a free passage. And this has also enabled crime. It has also enabled drug trafficking at the airports and all other exit ports in the country. So it's for the heads of these security agencies to ensure that, when people like these are caught. Thankfully, the NDLA is prosecuting this case, to use this case as a deterrent to others, to ensure that, people are actually don't use their influence and office to perpetuate this kind of thing and then spoil the good work the NDLA is actually doing to rid the country of these drug trafficking menace.
Julie, as a matter of fact, I'm just thinking about this marijuana thing. Some states in America and some states in Canada, they've gone ahead to legalize it. So I'm not advocating that it should be legalized. But we are saying it is illegal in Nigeria, but the spread is alarming.
They are making it look like it's even a normal thing now. You see kids smoking Indian hemp in public, but...
Girls?
Yes, girls. 16-year-old girls, 15, They've even advanced to more dangerous drugs. But General Marwa and his team are doing such a fantastic job. He has shown that he's one of the best public officers in our country.
Oh, you are sticking that position.
It is terrible that an immigration officer that is supposed to assist the general
that job,
to succeed is now being arrested and arraigned for drug trafficking. It's such a terrible thing. I feel really bad, and I take back the error that I made earlier when referring to the person as an NDA.
And it shows, if you remember the Abakari thing,
yes.
It's almost the same thing, that anybody can be taken down.
Of course.
Security person, NDLA set the trap, and...
They set that trap, and they succeeded, and it was his desire to prolong the trial the other day. He lost. So his trial continues, and hopefully justice will be served soon.
At the end of the day.
Good, well done to the NDLA for their tenacity, for their effective handling of the job.
All right. More drama and twists continue to unfold in Rivers State regarding the feud between Governor Similai Fubara and his predecessor, Nyesom Wike. This time, the state government sealed off a 5-story building belonging to the immediate past chairman of Ikuri local government area of the state, Samuel Wanosike, over an alleged violation of an approved building plan. The Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development revealed that the building, which was approved to be a 4-story, was redesigned and being reconstructed into a 5-story structure. Although in a viral video on the internet, Wanosike admitted to contravening his building permits, some observers are of the opinion that Governor Fubara might be bearing his fangs against the Wike loyalists.
Directed that the illegal caretaker committee, the members should form vigilante groups. And I have confirmed in my local government that there are attempts to form vigilante groups. In fact, I began to recruit them. I also am aware that they claim they have sent the names to the police for profiling. I don't want to believe, just like the police will not believe, that the police will delve into such illegality. That's why we are getting the public informed that you're talking about anarchy. These men are preparing for anarchy. I will fold their hands and let such criminals to take us unawares. Because if they are continuing in this, perpetrating criminality, then they are criminals. Because if the highest, ranking court of the land has declared them illegal and they still continue to function, then it means they are criminals. So if nothing is being done, the anarchy that people are running away from is already with us. It's already here. So we want to, inform the authorities that we are not cowards. We are also prepared. We have the majority of the people. Forget about all these movements. We have the majority of them. We have the mandate to do. And now that the law has extended it, calling us that there is a gap. It's only democratically elected people that can fill that gap if you check the constitution. So why asking the question whether people are there or not? No other person can be authorized to do so. And because we are elected, the assembly, which are the people who make the law, have also drawn inference from the constitution to say we can cover. And until that time comes, then they will know. We are not afraid of any debate. When you are talking about anarchy, they are calling for anarchy and they are prepared for it. It is obvious that the governor seems like somebody who is not interested in leadership, who is not interested in government and bringing peace. So we will make sure that as we brought him in there, God will also take him out. Absolutely. Thank you very much. Absolutely.
Just one more question, sir. Just one more question. Do you as a group, do you as Algon, do you suspect or fear, or are you worried that there may be an ongoing attempt to, let's say, victimize or witch hunt certain about using state powers?
Yes. It's going on. They are filing illegal acts. It's going on. That's why we are alerting the public. You see, when the police and the security agents that are vested with the power to maintain law and order fail us, you can understand what will happen. We're not even saying we all are agitated. The people are agitated. They call us on daily basis, they follow us on daily basis, and we gather this information. And we are the people that are their voice. We are the voice of the voiceless. That's why we're telling the government to act timely. Our governor doesn't seem to be interested in peace. They are going about sealing of properties of perceived enemies without, informing the public what. It's not just one. They're going to search for others. Well, we're not afraid of that, but let them make sure that there's peace and order in the state.
We also want to inform that as the governor is authorizing the sealing of properties, we will also visit the house he's building at OGRA. We are
not just one.
We will also see the difficulty in this whole thing is when two brothers fight. We know each other. What he knows, we know. Because we weren't fighting before. So as he attacks any of our properties, we will come after his own properties. We know them. And since he says he's been a shell manager before, he will say how much he was earning as shell manager. To build those kind of upstairs he's building in Ojian. We will come for we will open ourselves. We will open ourselves up.
And in a bid to explore every avenue, we are aware that the calling meetings of
HRTS and threatening them.
To begin to release
funds.
Again,
every time will be accounted for.
All will be accounted for. They will all be brought to book. Any staff of the council that joins the perpetrating evil and joins the perpetrating criminality,
we will match him
to pay for it.
We will match him.
Okay, thank you.
River State is like one house of commotion.
Fuji House.
I'm telling you. Now, my question here, Jide. Did Wanosiki contravene the building permits, state permits, or not?
Yes, he contravened it. But the point, there was a letter that he sent to, let me see who exactly sent that letter to Honorable Isaac N. Omejuru, Honorable Commissioner for Ministry of Physical and Urban Development, River State. That letter was received on the 23rd of July. It was written on the 22nd of July, but delivered and acknowledged on the 23rd of July. So in that letter, he said, I admit the non-compliance and will be amenable to pay for the non-compliance or contraventions observed in my property by your office. He then added that Section 42 of the Rivers State of Nigeria Official Gazette, made in 2020 and captured in number 1, volume 48, RSL number 1 of 2012, provides for the approved fees for contravention of building plan by developers in Rivers State. And by that gazette, the penal fee shall be 500,000 naira.
Okay.
Yes. So he's saying that the fee is ready to pay that sum of money. So it's 5,000 naira. Now, if you recall, Wike demolished somebody's hotel during COVID. If Fubara were to play that role, because in many ways Fubara is trying to copy what Wike used to do, match him. You know, Wike will, during his inauguration of projects, what Nigerians like to call commissioning of projects. During inauguration of projects, he will use it to abuse people. He seemed Fubara to do that.
Same template.
In fact, Fubara shot
live coverage.
Yes, it too. When he said John Good don't mature,
yes,
and I said, hey,
the same Fubara.
John Good don't mature.
Yes.
Okay. I said,
see,
this kind of lingo from a governor.
Yeah,
you say John Good don't mature. I was talking to one of his commissioners. I said, see your man talking about John Good don't mature. I said, that one freak me. Because at that level, I did not expect to hear that kind of lingo. You know, but he's a homeboy, the Niger Delta boy. So, you see, in this case, the guilty has admitted his guilt. Uwanosike cannot deny that he was wrong. If approval was given for fourth story, there's no reason to add another one.
Fine.
Eh? Don't add another one.
To the environment.
Yes.
Structurally.
And yes. Now, if it is, I know that the governor is not happy because he abused the governor. He called him Mumu. But he's known, he has apologized.
Oh gosh.
You see, the thing is, they are not
all extremists.
What of Fubara himself, who said that we have used Otapia on the rat that was eating the bag of gari. Do you not know what he was saying? Who is the rat eating the bag of gari? Is it me or you? Or is it Femi? We know who the rat is now.
Look at the way they were talking to press conference. Look at the way
they were shouting, you know.
No, you see, telling the governor that we know you, the house you are building.
They know each other now. They know each other. They will identify even his own house. The one is building in Abuja, they will tell you. They know each other. You know, Nigerian politicians, they don't close their mouths. If the governor thinks they don't know someone where he's building houses, he's deceiving himself. They will show where he's even building that of Abuja. They can even take me there if I want. But I don't need to go there. So what I can just say is to appeal to Fubara. You don't need to demolish, because the affair is now is that having locked that place up is going to demolish. Don't demolish. Don't demolish. The reason I disagree with Fubara was the demolition of that assembly. That is where me and where our quarrel began. I know that he doesn't owe me anything. Just the same way I don't owe him. I don't have his phone number. I've never spoken to him in my life. My own is to do my job. But my appeal is, don't demolish the hotel. When you take out an hotel in that way, jobs are lost. The people used to work there. If you pull it down, the next day they don't have any job. So, for the sake of such people, forget what Uwanosike said. Don't be moved by what he said. Give him another chance. Let him pay the contravention fee. Or if you like, you can get into a negotiation with him, because even in my view, asking for 500,000 naira when you contravene this thing is not, in my view, sufficient. You can reach out to his handlers to say, look, this we are not going to agree. This 500,000 is not. He has to pay more. You know. People will say, if it was Wike, he would have done more. Fubara is not Wike. And Fubara should not copy everything bad that Wike was doing. No, that's not right. So don't demolish the thing, Mr. Governor, don't demolish. There's no sense in that. You've locked up the place, the lesson has been learned. It is God that gives power. If God says, okay, this power is going to keep you in office for 8 years, nobody can stop it. But do the right thing. Do not demolish, because people will lose their jobs. But of course, you can increase the penalty, maybe marginally, and leave him. You will earn more respect if you do not deal in a wicked manner with Uwanosike just because he abused you in public. But he has apologized and is prepared to apologize again. He has not sent me to do this, but I know that if he has to apologize publicly again, so that he doesn't lose that structure, I'm sure he's going to apologize. So it's not every time that we say, oh, don't do it. No, but I know that the governor is in a position of strength on this matter because the law has been contravened. So we can only appeal to him to not demolish the building, get him to pay the penal fee, go straight into the purse of the state, and you take it from there.
Femi, it's like heating up the policy. The policy is heated already in River State.
Yes,
and all actions and inactions will be interpreted politically.
Yes, the issue in River State now, to me, it's now descending into a personal fight. It's no longer an issue-based fight now about governance and all of that. Now it's now personal. And I would say, Governor Fubara is also coming out to take his own pound of flesh. And it appears as if he has also read the book by the famous Chinese military strategist, the art, Sun Tzu, the art of war, in terms of attacking the vulnerability of his perceived opponent. Yes, he knows clearly that that building contravened the building code of the state, and the Anosike, has also admitted it. Now that Governor Fubara is coming for that, he feels he's on the side of the law to come for that building and mark it for
demolition.
Yeah, mark it for possible demolition if indeed he decides to take that route. But it's now gone beyond. The politics has gotten really messy, and you also see the way the politicians in River State, the way they talk, they really do not care about the consequences of what they say. There's no tact. There's they just talk loosely. No finance. Talk loosely. And then you wonder how elected officials who are supposed to govern, and you wonder how they themselves got into office, and then it also gives you a picture of the kind of the state, the kind of policies, and these kind of people, and the kind of laws that they will make, the kind of policies they will formulate if they themselves, lack decorum, just speak loosely. People who are expected to be honorable and to carry themselves, with some level of decorum and integrity. But it's really a sad one, and the people of River State are the biggest losers in all of this. We wait to see how long this will linger and how it will be settled, maybe by law or a political solution.
All right, we'll take this breather. When we come back, we'll talk more. It's still Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We'll be right back after this time out.
Wires and cables come and come back, light up your life. Come and want to light up your house. Come and want to give you better. Come and next to ordinary wire. Come and cables, come and wires, come and quality, come and durable, come and cable, come and cables, come and wires, come and quality, come and durable, come and cable, everybody come and see. Come
GSM cable. Great quality. Now with the new look.
Wow. And finally, one of the principles guiding protests in democratic countries is that it must be peaceful. As Nigerians gear up for the planned protests slated from the 1st to 15th of August, President Bola Tinubu has sounded another note of caution that the protests may descend into chaos and undermine development in the country if not carefully managed. President Tinubu also called for calm, urging protesters to reconsider their stand for the benefits of the country. Meanwhile, in a bid to douse tension during the protest, the Commissioner of Police in Lagos State, Adegoke Fayade, has advised residents against attacking protesters. Jide, this is very, very important. Right to protest, and protesters will still want to come out. Some people will still want to come out.
Yes.
And a lot of people will allege that, oh, people that attack them, they are being sponsored by government and everything. Now the Commissioner of Police is saying that, look, if you see protesters, you don't have the right to even attack them. Just allow them to protest peacefully.
You know, my fear that I've expressed on issues with Jide yesterday is whether we can actually have a peaceful protest. In a season when the people are extremely hungry, angry,
if you can have
agitated,
a peaceful protest,
can we? You saw what happened in Yobe now. The vice president was there. The governor inaugurated some empowerment tools for farmers, and they started destroying the president's billboards and all that. They took their anger upon billboards. The level of anger in the country cannot be emphasized. So those who do not want protests, who think that no, it's because they think this protest will could potentially set the country on fire. They keep saying, oh, why is it that you don't want protest? Who is that Lagosian who saw what happened at NSAS, who will be excited that another protest is
the BRT buses, the red buses.
Something that was meant
we are still
for the poor people.
Yes.
It wasn't meant for Tinubu.
65, 50.
You set them high-capacity luxury buses. You set them ablaze. It takes a madman amongst people marching through the streets to do something.
Public infrastructure, honestly, that will benefit us.
Others will simply join him in destroying what is meant for the people. You know how many police stations they destroyed. But and when the people say, "Oh, it is the government that is that causes the violence and all that," when they protested in the U.S. Against the police,
people started looting.
Did they not loot?
People started looting in the U.S.
In the so-called
country.
What do they call it? Senate clients. They were breaking into people's shops.
Yes.
You know, the problem for me, a lot of those shops you see, a lot of the business premises you see in our country, they are not insured, are you?
At all.
How many of them are insured?
No.
All of those, some of those big shops you see on Alade, even Admiralty Way and all that, they are not insured. When you set them ablaze or you loot everything, the next day, the workers there, they have no job. There was a particular woman who spent her fortunes trying to keep her husband alive. The husband was sick. She sold her things just to struggle to keep the man alive. Invariably, they lost the man. After that, she got money from banks and set herself up in business. Protesters came and set ablaze. They looted and then set ablaze what was left. Now tell me
Finish that.
where you've ruined her life. If she's not careful, she will even commit suicide because everything that she had,
What do you want us? Where do you want
everything that she had, you have taken away. You've taken everything that she had away. She has no reason to live anymore. So the point that we are making is right now. We'll go to the girl. It's not time yet. It's not time. Right now, we can't allow a situation in which, because we are protesting, we can't move sick people to the hospitals. That shouldn't happen. You can't block the roads. Because people, in an emergency situation, you block the road, how do they get to take people to hospital? So this is the point. They must realize that, look, as you have your right to protest, other people have their right to not join you.
Should not infringe on you.
So you cannot force everyone to protest with you. When you stop people from going to their to work, you stopped them from making money to feed their families. Even in Kenya, because our own people, the NSAS thing was so badly organized, because they didn't want to have a leader.
A clear leader.
How do you do this kind of thing without definitive leaders?
Nobody to negotiate with.
No definitive leadership. How do you do it? Now, in Kenya, they said, okay, 2 days a week, we will demonstrate. They left other days for people to be able to go to work and make ends meet. In our own case, it was indefinite. We'll close the road.
Something.
Huh?
If we, from the 1st to 15th of August, 2 weeks.
So, is that how it is done? Now, let us look at some of the things that they are talking about. The demands. They said, scrap the 1999 Constitution and replace it with a people-made Constitution for the Federal Republic of Nigeria through a sovereign national conference to be immediately followed by a national referendum. When you scrap the Constitution, when you scrap the Constitution, who takes over? That means there is no government. So who will be in leadership? Who will be governor of a state? Who will be president? They are not thinking. And referendum is not known to our constitution. You say you should scrap it. You say, toss the Senate up on the Nigerian legislative arm, keep the House of Representatives, and make lawmaking a part-time endeavor. Those things even take time before you can agree. You are talking about months before you can come with a new constitution.
Amendments.
It doesn't take. It takes so long. I will take 2 more because so that tomorrow we can deal with this matter fully. So that Femi too can talk. Pay Nigerian workers a minimum wage of nothing less than 250,000 monthly. Invest heavily in education. Gives Nigerian students grants, not loans. Aggressively pursue free and compulsory education for children across Nigeria. Then they said, this is where I will stop. Release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu unconditionally and demilitarize the Southeast. How is Nnamdi Kanu's detention a matter that concerns hunger? How is it related to hunger? Is there a correlation?
Even in all you read, there's nothing particularly related to hunger.
Yes.
It's like...
What are we talking about here?
As in, the tension is so high.
Yeah.
Now, when you talk about the hunger, it will resonate, across the country. And a lot of people will want to, as a kind of sympathy, join it. But we're talking about people with genuine intention, different from people with ulterior motive.
Yes, you know what Mr. Ostoji said is very instructive. We understand your right to protest, but do not infringe on the right of others. Just look at the NTAS. Even a lot of people that went to the Lekki toll gate are not people that commute daily using that toll gate, but they went and inconvenienced other people going about their legitimate business. Yes, and decided to block. Yes, we know we run a democracy, but it appears as if our people or even the protesters are not democratic. They do not even understand democracy. What we just have is a democratic government. How do you engage with the government in a democratic sense? You want the constitution to be scrapped. But we have the National Assembly already doing constitutional review. And they invite people every day. Come there. You will refuse to go there. There's public hearing. You will not go and get involved. You will not go and engage the government. But you want to be on the streets shouting. They don't even understand democracy. It's the method that was used when they were tackling the military. That is the same thing. They have refused to evolve. That is the same method they are still using in a democratic system of government. So it appears as if they are also the enablers of the breakdown of law and order. And then whenever it goes south, they tell you that, no, it is the government that sponsored hoodlums.
Yeah.
Hoodlums hijacked it, but you give them the platform. You gave hoodlums the platform to hijack this protest. So you are also aiding and abetting.
Those who looted
Right.
U.S. shops, was it government that sent them to loot U.S. shops?
Okay, joining us via Zoom for more discussion on this issue is a development economics, Ayobami Oyalo. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me on your program.
Ayo, can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly. Can you hear me?
Okay. What do you make of the planned nationwide protest?
I've been listening to your discussion and it's enlightening. In fact, when Otitoju came up with the NSAS thing, it resonates with me clearly. I live in Lekki with my family, and not only did they block the roads then, there is one ShopRite that is called, it's in a place called Saku Mall. I don't know if you know that place.
Yeah.
Not only was that entire place looted to the ground, it was punched to the ground after they finished looting. They ruined everybody who owns a business there. Everyone who works there lost their job. That place never came back until last year, October, after 3 years. So everyone who used to work there had lost their job. People who had businesses there have been ruined, and they have been rendered jobless and business-like. And like you also said, most of us don't insure our businesses. So people were completely wiped away. So I also believe that the essence of a protest is that we are trying to get the attention of government. But if you have gotten the attention, because we can all see all the arms of government right now, state governors, lawmakers, everyone is talking about it. So the essence of a protest is to get the attention of government. So if you have gotten the attention, why are we still insisting that we must go on the street? It is clearly a call to anarchy. You can see it. Even if they are not saying it, when you are saying release a prisoner who is justifiably held and who is constitutionally held, who is already undergoing a proceeding in court, and you are saying these are clearly pointing towards anarchy. So for me, I think we should look for a more democratic and reasonable way to present grudges, not trying to burn down the country and render many people useless. We are fighting against hunger, we are fighting against deprivation. All you are going to create is more hunger, more deprivation, more losses to people, and on the long run, what you are doing, you are not helping the matter. You are only exacerbating an already bad situation.
Ayobami, some people will say that the situation is very bad, that justifiably these people, they have the right to exhibit and demonstrate their anger, that the inflation rate, the poverty level across the country, that all is not well with Nigeria. How do we show government that we are hungry?
Like I've always said, the situation is bad, no doubt about it. We, as an economist, have looked at as a development economist, I look at the inflation rate and the high cost of living. It is clearly a challenging one for us as a country. However, the problem did not start yesterday, and it is not just a Nigerian problem. In fact, if you cast your mind back, from 2015 we've been having problems all over the world, and like we all know, the world is globally connected. When you lose, when something happens in point A, there is a huge chance that you will have in point B. It will affect you. From the oil downfall in 2015-16 to COVID in 2019-20 to the Ukraine war, now the Palestine, all these things come together to globally cause us challenge and problem. But I made one example, I'm going to make it again. Probably the government needs to do more of communication to Nigerians, and I will explain it in a simple manner. You see, when the American recession, which led to the World Great Depression in 1929 started, it lasted for about 10 years. The world started extinct in 1939. So by then, the world also went into another war. called the Second World War. So, but what did America do? America realized that we need to put more people, empower more people, and how do you empower people? You educate them. So how did they do that? They came up with the student loan scheme. And when they came up with the student loan scheme, it was able to help young, aspiring people who want to get university education. Now Nigeria has come into this kind of situation. Now when the president came in, he said, okay, I want to do the student loan scheme so that people will be developed from poverty. You will not need to crowdfund, you will not need to beg for money. You will not say you can't go to school because your parents are poor or maybe because you are an indigent. So now what I am saying is maybe people around this president currently are not helping him to market the things he's doing. Now, it's a structure he's building, and we will not see the result like immediately. But it's something that's going to outlast him. Now, when you have an educational system that works for people, student loan scheme was built, has been built now by Nigeria too. Now, if you dovetail it down, it comes to the local government thing that he's trying to do, such that people who can now go to school, you have local government bursaries, you can have local government development, and then you also remember just a week or two ago, the minimum wage thing was agreed. So it is a system that is being built, but it's going to take a while. Now what we need to now do is, how do we quickly feed the system, let Nigerians eat while we are making the development? Now this is where you now have to ask the governors, what have they helped to do with the huge funds that have come into their hands in the last 1 year and how many years? 1 year and 2 or 3 months now. So we need to work on all these things, understand it, and then tell Nigerians that, look, the president is doing his own part. Our state government also need to wake up and help this president to achieve a developmental plan and program for Nigerians. So, yes, Nigerians are hungry. Yes, Nigerians are angry. However, our hunger and anger will not be assuaged by making a situation that is already bad worse. What we must do is get the leaders to work for the people. I was encouraged to see the former governor of Cross River State on the street, expressing desires, talking to people, explaining things to them. So Nigerians need to be made to understand what is being done. What we've had from especially the presidency side has been too much of silence, which means when people are not listening, hearing what their leaders are doing, there is an opportunity for other people to fill the vacuum with misinformation. And this misinformation is what has led us to this level of anger. So the president needs to make sure that the plans and the programs that he's pushing, even though painful today, has a reward for tomorrow. But while the reward is being done, let Nigerians understand this. And this is why I'm going to blame Mr. President or whoever those people are who need to help him to pilot and propagate these programs and plans to Nigerians. Because I'm sure if people understand this better, we will find a more amicable way to resolve our problems and differences, rather than going on the street to burn down the little infrastructure that we are not even having enough.
I want to ask you, as an economist, always with an eye for the future, the president has put plans in place to import grains and food items generally into the country on a very big scale. Don't you think that this could be counterproductive in the final analysis?
You might want to say it is not a nice way to go about things, or it will not help our farmer, but you also must ask yourself. Most of us here are Yoruba, and I'm sure if I do this, I'll say it in English. So if a very well roasted meat is delicious, before the meat is fully roasted, you must put something in the mouth. So the plan by the presidency or by the government is a temporal plan, and I think it's a good idea. So when you are able to feed the people now, you can now plan for the next farming season. And I also give this example somewhere. You see, it is part of our lack of planlessness and continuity that has led us to where we are today. If you follow the trajectory in the past, we had the Anchor Borrower program. Yes, it was mismanaged by the CBN. We are all saying the Mefele man now in court and all this. But if you look back, you might say these things was mismanaged, people stole money and all that. But I want us to look at the good part. And what are the good part? I fortunately was in Kano during the time of Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje. He built a very excellent system of irrigation in place. If you also remember, the current Minister of Budget and Planning, when he was governor of Kebbi State, he also did a lot in agriculture. What we didn't have is continuity. So I think what the government wants to do is to fill the gap of hunger now, bring down the prices of grains and food items. When we have done that, we must go back to agriculture. The government must come to the point where, look, you have to encourage farmers. What is the plan? If the Anchor Borrower program that was being done before was badly, was not well managed, let me not say badly because it did some things, but if it was not well managed and it was not well implemented, what can we do to improve on it? Not to throw it away, because food security must come with your ability to feed your people by yourself. Food security is not to depend on other people. One of the good things that the Buhari government did was during the time of COVID, despite the fact that the world was on a lockdown, we were able to feed ourselves, despite the challenges. So I don't want us to condemn what the president is trying to do in terms of trying to fill the little gap that we have right now of in distribution gap in food and feeding our people. So when they've done this, I think they say just for a few months. I think maybe 3 months or 6 months. I can't remember again. So it's just for a short period. But while we are feeding the people for that few months that we are looking at, the plan must be in place to ensure that there is a massive agricultural revolution that will come back to Nigeria. I have seen the governor of Nasarawa State, governor of Niger State, yes, Niger State, Bago. He's calling himself farmer governor, and we can see the plan the guy is doing. Now, what you will ask yourself is, what are the other governors doing, apart from changing their fact to dollar and hiding it and causing more problem in the system? The governors are the owners of the land. I always say this, the federal government does not own an inch of land in Nigeria. Every land belongs to a state. The state government must look at their own area of strength. If your state will do better in in sorghum or millet, then be the expert in millet. We've had Kebbi, Jigawa, and Niger State as experts in rice. Also, under the former Ebonyi State governor, the Ebonyi State had one of the massive agricultural plans in rice. These are the things we should go back to. So we must call these governors out, that each state must look at the area where they are strongest, and massively encourage farming and agriculture, and then have off-takers. There are a lot of what you call the value chain. The governors must sit down, understand this. Instead of those wearing agbada, running away from their state and coming to Abuja every time, each governor should sit down at home and plan how to feed his own people and make sure that other states are fed too. So this is what I see. I don't see anything bad in this short-term plan that the presidency is trying to put in place. What I am just worried about is, what are the long-term objectives? What are the long-term plans that we'll have? Because this is just a stopgap program, but we can't live our lives on stopgap. When we have done the stopgap, what is our plan for next year? Dry season farming. In fact, dry season farming should start by October. What is our plan for dry season farming? We can do 2 seasonal farming. That way, we will have less cyclical problem, like the tomato issue that we had, that we couldn't buy tomato the last 3 months. Now tomato is all over the market. So this cyclic and seasonal problem can be solved if we are able to channel our power and our strength into production, instead of complaining, and our governors wearing agbada joining us to complain, pretending like they are not part of the problems.
All right. We have Felix on the line from Abuja. Let's quickly take this call from Felix. Thank you, Felix. Good afternoon. Go ahead. Yes. Turn down the volume of your monitor, Felix. Yes, I can hear you now. Oh, we're having problem with your audio.
Listening to yourself.
Are you still on? And Femi, did it?
Yes, the police. I don't know whether Ayo supports the idea of police giving the protesters a long list of conditions to be met. Like they must provide the assembling point, the duration of protests, names and contacts of protest leaders. They must provide details of proposed routes. You know, they are saying that they are doing this in the best interest of internal security. Do you agree that all of these conditions must be met by protesters before they can protest?
If you remember what happened during the ENSA, the police were the biggest victim of that protest. They lost a lot of men. You remember the ones that were beheaded, the ones that were killed. In fact, some were even roasted on the road in Ibadan. I still have some of the videos today on my phone. So I don't blame the IG for trying to do that. If you want to protest, which is your inalienable right as a citizen, then there must be guidelines. So I think what the IG is trying to do is to provide guidelines and ensure that the protesters are able to control their protest.
You're asking for the names of their leaders?
Well, it is a good thing, so that when something now happens, we will not have the idea when they came up to say, oh, this thing was hijacked, it was the government that sent those people. No, when we know the new protesters and they are on a particular route, any other miscreant can be dealt with. So I think the IG is right in trying to ensure that whoever is leading this protest is in control of his group of protesters, and the protesters will not do anything to affect the law negatively. Like we have said earlier on, I was listening in, you cannot block road for people to pass. You cannot stop other people from having their own right of passage. If you want to protest, or if I want to protest and you don't want to protest, I have no right to block you from the road and say you can't go to your own area. I mean, we've seen people who said their wives were stopped on the road. I saw one man on social media whose wife was stopped from Maryland. She had to, and she was pregnant with 7 months. For 7 months, she was 7 months pregnant. She had to trek all the way from Maryland to Ikorodu. And he said when she got home, she was bleeding. I don't know whether she lost that baby or not. But those kind of stories were, they are bound in that period. So you don't want to repeat such insane circumstances and situations. So I think the IG is right to say, look, provide the route, your address, that we know who to hold responsible when or if something negative happens. We hope it will not happen. We hope if they are going to protest, they will do it peacefully. But there must be decorum even in protest.
That's good.
Yeah.
I want to thank you, Ayobami Oyalo. Thank you, Development Economics. Thank you for your time. Jude, we are going to continue this.
Yes, tomorrow we'll discuss it again.
Yeah, because it's going to be a challenging week.
It is. And what I even hear is that they want to wrong-foot the government by starting the protest not on the day that the government expects that they will start it, so that that will take the sail out of the preparations that the security forces are making. You know, if this happens, then we'll have a kind of protest that we cannot control in any way, because if you suddenly start a protest at a time that you didn't tell us you will start it, of course nobody can protest the protesters. Nobody can protest. The police wants to be in a position to be able to monitor and minimize the risk involved in the protest. But if you do it suddenly in a manner that deliberately wrong-foots those who are supposed to protect the protesters, then anything can happen.
Femi.
Yes, well, indeed, the government is making frantic efforts to see how they can prevail on these the organizer of this protest to shelve their plans by explaining what the government is doing and what more they will do to calm all frayed nerves. Well, we just hope that all of this at the end of the day is in the interest of the country, and the protesters also put national interest first beyond just chasing clouds and using the hashtag to trend on Instagram and other social media platforms, because that is what a lot of them are about, just for the trends, not really.
Did you see the video of a woman who said They are telling them to come and buy vest for 6,000 naira.
Yeah.
Yes, he said, I am hungry. You're asking me for 1,000 naira, my 6,000 naira to wear vests.
We have to leave it there.
And you are
professional picture upload on Instagram.
And you are saying, oh, pay to me, pay the money to me. I mean,
I want to thank you, Babajide Kolade Otitoju, the maestro. I want to thank you, Lala. Thank you for this. And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of Journalist Hangout, our regular episode by 5 p.m. You can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode tonight at 11:30 p.m. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Ozubakon. See you tomorrow, and God bless Nigeria.
Since the last day of last season, we are ready to do it all again. Phil Foden is having the season of his life. Brilliant! Just brilliant! That is quite something!
Stay connected for all the football you want, starting from 5,100 naira per month.
Hello everyone, my name is Umnia and I'm 21 years old. I'm currently in Sudan and I make videos as someone who's still living in the war. This is probably the hardest video I will ever have to make because it's the anniversary of our war. It's been a year of ruthless violence, a year of death, a year of an apocalypse. No words in any dictionary in any language can ever be able to describe the horrors that we've seen and experienced and continue to experience to this day. Over 10 million people are displaced. 25 million people struggle with acute hunger. And death is, I don't even know how many people have died and how many people are still dying. But let me paint an image for you. Migratory birds have changed the route so they can come to Khartoum and feed on corpses.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news. This is the 93.6 kilometer Ilorin-Jeba Federal Highway. The first phase of its reconstruction was completed during the Buhari administration. It is currently being dualized. It serves as the major link road between the southwest and the north. As much as the highway is pleasurable to drive on, over 52% of accidents recorded in Kwara State happen on this road. According to the statistics from the Federal Road Safety Commission, out of the 307 accident cases recorded in Kwara State in 2023, 161 occurred on the Ilorin-Jeba Federal Highway, representing more than half of the total number of accidents in the state.
We discovered that speed is #1 cause, and then we have the issues of wrongful overtaking, and then we also have the issues, the encumbrances of night journey that come with driver fatigue and poor visibility. And then we have other incidents of knockdown of pedestrians along that route.
The Okolo-Shao Junction axis of the expressway is the most notorious. This is because the expressway passes through these communities, and to cross over the highway is like a death sentence.
One of trailer is half accident, almost 25 people died, and 15 people is injured in the hospital. A series of accidents coming in accident Okolo. Please, I will try to plead to the federal government, state government. We need overhead bridges in Okolo Junction. Please, see the life of the people. Okolo is a battlefield of accidents for my people.
Between January and June this year, 61 crashes have been recorded, with at least 87 lives lost, including workers and students of the Kwara State University and other private institutions on the axis. Between last year and June this year, at least 15 persons have been knocked down while trying to cross to the other side of the road.
At times, as we were coming, some people might not even know that these trailers are coming. So before we even cross, some would almost touch us. So I will plead the government or advise them in providing these down blows for us.
Shegun Oke is a tricycle rider at Shao Junction. He has witnessed many fatal accidents, especially those trying to cross over the expressway.
This junction is always cause accidents for this junction, and we want him to help us to do this bridge because always accidents was always happen for this junction. We beg government to come and help us for this junction.
After one of such fatal accidents, Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak of Kwara State was at the scene to sympathize with the surviving victims. He also re-echoes the need to have overhead bridges to prevent unnecessary loss of lives.
Well, I guess it's because it's a smooth, beautiful road. People overspeed. We need speed limit, speed control, and there's a need for continuous intervention on this road. For example, a flyover is needed to control the traffic, to reduce the traffic congestion at the intersection a few hundred meters from here. Well, the first thing is to say that safety is important. Drivers should control their speed.
It may not stop at just interchanges, but if we have footbridges too, that will cross that road, because definitely if you look at it, you understand that the express cuts across a community, and so definitely there will be a need for pedestrians to cross from one side to the other, either for market, for school, and for other purposes.
The highway passes through some communities, and this makes them to be at a higher risk of accidents and knockdown.
Ever since the reconstruction of the Ilorin-Jeba Federal Highway, there has been a steady rise in the cases of accidents along this corridor, and this is largely due to dangerous overtaking and overspeeding among motorists. And this is why residents of this community and of course motorists are appealing to the federal government to help construct interchanges and overhead bridges on major junctions, especially Okolo and Shao junctions. Ibrahim Alige, TVC News, Ilorin.
He is only 5 years old, but his talent is not. It is on a level many would strive to achieve, perhaps after a lifetime of learning. This is the story of Motirola Oluwa Emmanuel, who displays an unusual talent on two of music's most popular instruments in Nigeria, pianos and drums. No denying the fact that Motirola Oluwa is mature in the use of his fingers to create a coordinated rhythm that suits the eardrum. I first spotted him at a talent hunt program called Gifted and Sent, organized by the Guided Missiles Church in Lagos to celebrate creativity. Even there, he was the youngest, but his act delighted everyone. I got fascinated by his confidence and his skill and decided to take his story beyond the floor of the talent hunt. Ogudu area of Lagos is where the gifted boy spends more time to train himself. His family was so excited to receive me, but he was even more delighted.
Bro, how are you? Fine. Thank you. Yes, sir. Good to be here. Yes, sir.
As the best place to see him do his magic, I came to observe him in action and to hear from his parents how the boy started as a toddler. Born to an Ondo father and an Akwa Ibom mother, Motirola Oluwa's enthusiasm fascinated me as he offered to play the piano for me in his dedicated space given to him by his father's boss. I watched with amazement as he produced melodies. I tried to also see if I could make some sense out of my fingers on the keyboard, but Motirola Oluwa turned my new coach, quick to correct and teach me.
Play what you want to play. We are grateful. Hold on, play. Motirola Oluwa Emmanuel has created a niche for himself as the youngest professional drum and piano child prodigy.
On the drums, the coordination of his hands firmly on the sticks and legs on the pedal to produce seamless rhythm was quite a spectacle. At every step, I watched him with rapt attention in awe as he sweated out on the drums. But how did the journey start and where is he headed with all the passion?
My daddy has it on a system. I will play with one stick, with two sticks. I'll just play 5-stroke roll. And I will not struggle. I will keep playing it. I can play flam, I can play water, I can play 5-stroke roll, I can play 6-stroke roll, I can play rough, I can play watermark.
His trainer and some people have helped to inspire Motirola Oluwa as role models.
Getting to meet him and starting to train him, at first I wanted to start training him as a child, not wanting to show him complex things, But at the long run, I realized that after showing him the basic and going there to play complex things in the name of rehearsing so he watch, I then realized that, trust me, he's a very smart kid, like way smarter than I could imagine. So that was when I started infusing the complex things in him, and I saw that he executed them perfectly.
Rotimi Emmanuel is Motirola Oluwa's father. He makes a living as a sound engineer, and the Ondo State indigene explains how he discovered Motirola Oluwa's rare talent when he was just 5 months old.
I used to think it was when he was like 8 months, but then I saw the picture of the event because there's a story attached to it. And then we checked the date. It was actually when he was 5 months old. He could not sit by himself. I used to carry him on my laps. And then that period happens to be the time I was actually playing drums for a certain church. And it wasn't like I'm a good drummer. I was just looking at how to balance things up. So I started watching some tutorials so that I can meet up with my drumming. So whenever I'm watching my drums on the laptop and I happen to carry him in my hand, I notice he will just stop whatever he's doing. He's just focused, like he will stop moving, he will stop getting distracted. He's watching that video.
Esther Emmanuel is Motirola Oluwa's mother. As an educationist, she also corroborated her husband's statement of how Motirola Oluwa's gift has been a blessing to the family.
I noticed that at home, my pegs for drying clothes, he takes them and start drumming And he will look for a surface, a metal surface that can make sound like that of drums. So you see him arrange metals. Sometimes he picks throw pillows, he puts them around, and he starts drumming.
Both parents are grateful for the bundle of gifts that God has given them in Motirola Olua and have tried to make him balance his passion with going to school.
When you allow your child to explore their talents, it opens their brain, not just to that one thing, but to many other things. He started reading books on his own when he was like 4.
When it's time for him to read his books, he reads his books. When it's time for him to do his homework, he does his homework. So there is no conflict at all with his gift and his schoolwork.
I also interviewed a pharmacist who has sustained his passion for music directing and instrumentation. Bola Onfabiyi was one of the judges at the Gifted and Sent Talent Hunt program where I first met Motirola Olua.
To take more than a desire at that level of childhood to do what he's doing. While he was playing the instrument, what fascinated me was that I didn't find the gaps. I wanted to see the childhood manifesting there, but I didn't. I saw the intentionality of getting his notes right, which does not come with childhood. So I called the father, I asked him, does he play? How do you balance your child being on an instrument and your child being a child?
When he comes, sometimes he drop the bag, bam, run, open the door to the other side, sit down. He's there doing it. He's doing what he loves to do.
At that point, I was calm because I wanted to be sure it wasn't pressure either from the parents or from the peer group or from other influencers around him that is keeping him on, so he doesn't grow up to be a dysfunctional adult in the aspect of being balanced.
Music scholar Dr. Okpe Ashaolu believes Motirola has an unusual gift that needs to be properly harnessed and encouraged.
I could see a young boy with passion, with tenacity, and with a vision. It's like he knows what he's here for. He's called progression. Those called the movements were not just ordinary. So you look at it that a child who is so good at drums playing and who is also good at keyboard playing, it's not just ordinary.
Both Bola Onfabiyi and Dr. Okpe Ashaolu confess that his kind is rare. I needed to find out how he balances his gift with his performance at school.
When information got to me that Motirola Olua also displays his dexterity at the school assembly, I decided to come to see for myself. And to also know how he's able to manage between his academics and his talents.
See him on the drums even at school. I watched the various sessions at the assembly ground, after which I followed him to his class. Knowing that his mother teaches here, I knew that there would be a better level of supervision.
Motirola Olua, he's highly talented and he's intelligent. He does other co-curricular activities, especially drumming. In fact, he specializes in drumming. He's an expert. As a baby, most I begin to wonder how he learned how to drum. Also in the class, he does very well. He's brilliant, exceptionally brilliant.
Later, it was time for music session and his mother came calling. And we moved down to see how he would blend with others at school. Surprisingly, Motirola Olua, who has not officially started attending music classes, is better prepared for the task of playing with his seniors. His dexterity was also felt as he displayed on the drums and the piano. Mrs. Ame Peter is the head of school at the Redeemers Foundation School, Ogudu GRA. She confirmed that the boy's enthusiasm for musical instruments was noticed at a very tender age.
At the age of 2+, he was already trying, using several things, because we noticed that when it's time for drumming, he's very interested. He's interested to drum, even in class with pen. He can be drumming on the table and everything. And thank God for his parents who noticed his skill on time.
This discovery throws a light on the several other child geniuses I have showcased in the past. Nigeria has quite a number of them, and there are many more the world over who require special attention and nurturing by their parents and society to enable them explore their potential to the fullest. The Jacksons come to mind. But no doubt, Motirola Oluwa's gift is already making a way for him, and he looks forward to learning more musical instruments and to become a master of as many as he can. Ola Awakon, TVC News, Lagos.
In the hustling and bustling of our daily lives, a simple act like crossing the road can be a risky endeavor. But there's a solution that is often overlooked: the zebra crossing.
Zebra crossing is a type of pedestrian crossing marked by black and white stripes on the road, indicating a designated point for pedestrians to cross the road. It is called a zebra crossing because of its resemblance to the black and white stripes of a zebra. Drivers are required to yield to pedestrians at these crossings, allowing them to safely cross the road. But many drivers ignore the rules, putting lives at risk. Do people know what this mark stands for?
No, I don't know anything about it.
I don't really understand about that.
The little I know about zebra crossing is a sign that governments keep for pedestrians, like people that are using leg to cross, and because of that, as vehicle approaching that area, you're supposed to, and that is should be, you mild your brake so that your motor will go gradually, so that if you can stop, if people or anything that is under this in there, you can stop for the person to cross, and after crossing you can move. Right?
Yes, it's to open the way for crossing, and when you are crossing, an oncoming vehicle should have the discipline to stop, because people who are crossing there, they are free to cross.
Zebra crossing, as the name implies, is a designated area on the road marked with white stripe for pedestrians to cross the road. And at this point, it is where the vehicles or drivers give way to pedestrians to cross. And because drivers will give way to pedestrians to cross, it does not mean that pedestrians will just cross without being cautious. If you are about to cross or you're already on the zebra crossing, there's need for you to do traffic drill so that you can be seen. And you should also be cautious to know the dangers. And for drivers, when you are approaching this place, there's need for you to reduce your speed.
The zebra crossing was first introduced in the United Kingdom in 1951 as a response to the growing number of pedestrian fatalities on British roads. The idea was conceived by a British engineer, Lasse Ho Belisha, who was inspired by the stripes on a zebra. The first zebra crossing was implemented at the intersection of Secret Slot Street, Belgrave Road and Buckingham Palace Road in London. Zebra crossing has been around for decades, providing a safe passage for pedestrians, but it seems we have forgotten its importance.
This zebra crossing that is here, many a times the drivers don't respect this line. They will see people standing to cross. They will keep on driving and keep people standing there for us to tell them to slow down for us to cross the road. And many a times they come to this place to park their vehicles and stop passengers right at the zebra crossing, which is very, very wrong. And people that are trying to cross, and this may cause accidents for students and people that are trying to cross because the drivers don't respect this zebra crossing.
Along the highways and many other intersections visited, zebra crossings are often disregarded by drivers. This negligence can have devastating consequences.
Like in FRSA and our own traffic law, we have what we call a marking violation. And this marking violation, it attracts 5,000 naira as a fine. And in National Road Traffic Regulation, section 156, subsection 1B, if you go there, it is stated that drivers should give a stop and allow a pedestrian to cross. And all this, you have fines attached to it. Apart from fine, if you either pay the fine or you go to jail for at least 9 months.
World Health Organization estimates over 1.3 million people die every year as a result of traffic accidents worldwide. And more than half of all road traffic deaths are among vulnerable road users, including pedestrians, cyclists, and motorcyclists. The Road Safety Corps said a total of 5,081 people were killed in various road traffic crashes across the country in 2023. Some pedestrians suggest traffic lights should be positioned at a short distance from zebra crossing to reduce the risk of accident and deter drivers from disregarding pedestrians crossing.
There are other instances where you have a situation where this zebra crossing is just close to the traffic light. If the traffic light now opens for for example, it's say green. The green light is an alley light. And then the zebra crossing is just by that alley light. And people are crossing on the zebra crossing where it has been allocated for people to pass without hitches. And then vehicles are coming on. What do you expect will happen? What will happen at that time is that the oncoming vehicles, if they stop, they may hit them from behind. So the zebra crossing is also supposed to be a bit far off from the traffic light.
My advice for our driver is that when they see somebody stop at the zebra crossing, you have to follow that driver and stop. See in case.
We have those using the zebra crossing. And when you are at zebra crossing, when you are about to cross or you're already on the zebra crossing, you should also be cautious. It is not as if you have the right of way and you cross without being cautious. That is for the pedestrian. So there's need for them to watch out before they step on or they cross the zebra crossing. Then for drivers, I want to educate them that there is need for them when they approach zebra crossing, they reduce their speed and give a right of a way to the people crossing the zebra crossing. I think when we do it like that, we will have effective traffic management and reduce road traffic crashes in the state.
Zebra crossings are a simple yet effective way to save lives. Let's work together to make our roads safer, one crossing at a time. Tina Akweke, TVC News, Calabar.
Voted as the best TV station of the year. TVC News breaks into the core of every event as they happen. Following all nationwide big and impactful stories. Without the news from every perspective. Covering every human angle. I am Veronica, bringing you the news you would want to watch.
Every major news story is with many perspectives and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello, what time did this happen? We will be right there.
At TVC News, we follow the big and major news, gathering the facts, witnessing the outcome.
I am here live at the aftermath of the approval of the new national minimum wage.
We are TV station of the year, not just for breaking news, but for being first, fair and accurate. TVC News, first with breaking news.
The TVC News at 7 and the TVC News at 10 are not like any other news broadcast.
It's the big news hour, the hour for the big breaking stuff.
Let us allow nobody to come to this crisis where they will say help is limited. Where you may be, you may not have time to be assisted. God bless you. Share this knowledge to everyone. Copy this very website. We are putting all these videos and the rest of them right in there. Know the one that affects you, affect your loved ones, share with them. Okay? By so doing, we can build a healthy society. God bless you. As I see you again.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Hello and thank you for joining us on TVC News at 4. And we start off in Borno State where armed terrorists suspected to be members of Boko Haram have invaded Jakana police station in Konduga local government area, killing 2 persons. Chairman of Konduga Council area, Abbas Abari, confirmed this incident in a telephone call. The terrorists also set ablaze 2 patrol vehicles belonging to the police and members of the Civilian Joint Task Force and a motorcycle. Jakana is about 45 kilometers drive from Maiduguri, located along Damaturu-Maiduguri Expressway. Well, let's turn our attention to the planned protest scheduled for 1st of August. Nigerians have been advised to be patient with the present administration as it works to proffer solutions to the challenges facing the country. Deji of Akure made this appeal in Abeokuta after a meeting with former President Olusegun Obasanjo and the Alake of Egbaland. Senior reporter Kazim Olowe reports.
As some Nigerians prepare to embark on protests to express their minds against the current economic situation in the country and other issues affecting the citizens, a first-class monarch in Ondo State has called for calm in the interest of the country. The Deji of Akure, Alade Toyinbo Ogunlade, made this known while speaking to journalists in Abeokuta after attending a program in celebration of the life of Titus Odedino. He later visited the former President Olusegun Obasanjo and the Alake of Egbaland at Dedotun Gbadibo. He said President Tinubu just spent a year in office and needs more time to address some of the challenges confronting Nigeria.
You know, when this president took over the governorship of Lagos State, the economy was like this. He said they should wait, and he turned everything around. And he's appealing to the whole nation that they should wait. This is just for 1 year. The economy was a mess before he took over. Let them wait. Before you know, before he finished the first time, they will be calling Lekonsi.
In a similar situation, the Ogun Youth Assembly has called on Governor Dapo Abiodun to urgent
or palliative solutions
It is essential to implement a comprehensive, sustainable framework that empowers citizens and residents to secure honest, safer and better livelihoods.
The group also acknowledged the need for key players and the national projects to choose the path of dialogue in the interest of the country. Kazim Olowe, TVC News, Abeokuta.
And the former governor of Kano State and the national leader of the New Nigeria People's Party, Rabiu Kwankwaso, has called on Nigerians and the youth to employ the power of the ballot box to resolve the current economic hardship in the country. The NNPP leader spoke on the background of a planned nationwide strike, a protest rather, by the youth. In a statement published on his official X handle, Senator Kwankwaso said although the idea of a protest resonates with him, Nigerians should rather be patient with Bola Tinubu administration and give it all necessary support to succeed. He said, quote, protests, while a fundamental democratic right, often come with unforeseen and dire consequences. The tragic events of the past have shown us that protests can escalate into violence, leading to loss of lives, destruction of property, and widespread chaos, end quote. He said the hardship and hunger spreading across the country was avoidable. He, however, added that there is always room for correction and setting the country on the right track for economic development. Another candidate of the Social Democratic Party in the last governorship election in Kogi State, Muri Ajaka, has lent his voice on the planned protest, calling on Nigerian youth to trust President Tinubu's commitment in fixing the economic challenges. He says he recognizes the high cost of living that many are currently facing, empathizing with the frustrations and hardships. He argues that embarking on a protest may not be the right decision now, which he explains that more often than not, peaceful protests end up in violence and destruction of public and private property. He reminded the organizers of the protest that Nigerians are a resilient and united nation, recalling numerous challenges in the past, and the country has come out stronger. While more reactions are still trailing the planned protest, a cleric, Sam Olu Alo, has advised organizers of the protest to be wise and avoid a repeat of the NSAS protest, which was eventually hijacked. In a statement, the clergy says there is nothing wrong for people to protest to show their grievances, but it must be done in accordance with the law. He also warned organizers of the planned protest not to allow anybody under any guise to hijack the protest to avoid setting the nation on fire, just as they did during the NSAS period. He also asked President Bola Tinubu to dialogue with organizers of the protest. Now, the Commissioner of Police, Abia Command, Kenechukwu Owemelie, has advised residents to shun the planned protest, but rather engage with relevant bodies to present their grievances. The police command also paraded suspects involved in various crimes in the state. Nena Gabriel has more on this.
A lot has been said about the planned protest.
In a democratic society, protests are allowed, but protesters are advised to be peaceful and devoid of violence. Abia State Police Command is appealing to residents to have a rethink about the planned nationwide peaceful protest, which they fear might end up violent.
From all its character and nature, portends to not be intended for any peaceful purposes. There are representatives of the people at the state level and also national level. There are political opportunity structures that can be leveraged to be able to ventilate and engage with the relevant authorities. We must begin to learn to apply the policies, laws, and other structures that have been put in place for us to actually practice democracy.
Aside the matter relating to the protest, the command also paraded suspects involved in various crimes ranging from kidnapping, armed robbery, child trafficking, among others.
Major achievements recorded by the command. 142 male suspects and 20 female suspects were successfully apprehended during various operations. Rescue of 6 children and 4 kidnapped victims. Suspects have been arrested and various exhibits recovered, including firearms of different specifications.
My street, the place where I live in. So we try to make arrangement to go steal the bike.
These are life ammunition.
The police assures residents that the command remains committed to its efforts to eliminate criminal elements in the state. Nina Gabriel, TVC News, Umuahia, Abia State.
While still talking security, a couple has been arrested by the Akwa Ibom State Command of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps for fraud and job scam involving 700 people in the state. Miriam Daniels reports.
The suspect is identified as Blessing Ubengema and her husband, Joseph Richard. They are alleged to have collected money from various persons with the promise to secure employment for them in the Akwa Ibom State Civil Service.
This was made on Monday, 22nd July 2024, along IBB Way in Uyo, following complaint from some members of the public about a fraudulent extortion of huge sum of money. They promised to offer them employment into the state civil service. Furthermore, the suspect also used a fake NGO, Child Support Foundation, which he claimed was sponsored by UNICEF, to register about 7,000 children at 1,000 naira each for a supposed UNICEF children grant, which turned out to be a scam.
The suspect also claims her NGO is affiliated with the United Nations.
Actually, there was nothing like that name. The woman actually deceived me by pretending to be SSA to the governor, which at the third end, she opened up to me by sending me a text that she was not who she thinks she is, that she's not.
Which woman is that?
They said Ellen that they said.
Victims of Blessing's alleged scam blew the whistle when they discovered that she was the same person pretending to be the said CEO and SA to the governor on civil service employment, operating in the staff WhatsApp group with a different number.
We realize that all what she's doing is nothing but a scam, because this Dr. Helen Mbobo that she mentioned, she said that Helen Mbobo is an SSA to the governor on civil service recruitment, of which there's nothing like that.
From everything I've gathered, it should be plus or minus 4,500 children.
Registered.
Yes, and she got 1,000 naira each as registration fee from those parents.
The commandant, while advising citizens to confirm legitimate employment opportunity from official website of government and organizations, assures the victims that the suspects will be made to refund all monies extorted from them. Miriam Daniels, TVC News, Uyo, Akwa Ibom State.
Still on to TVC News, we'll have more stories in just a moment. Stay with us.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Stay ahead with the biggest news stories. Go beyond the news headlines. Experience impactful investigations. Enjoy resourceful news coverage in real time. TVC News at 7 and TVC News at 10 p.m. Live every day on this channel. TVC News, first with breaking news.
There is always more to a story than the screaming headline. The part of a story that is not told casts a shadow. It's like the part of an object that is not reached by light. On TVC News, I'm able to explore the many angles there are to a story, talking to stakeholders, asking the difficult questions, and digging for facts. I believe the viewers are able to make a better decision if they're well informed and understand not just a part, but the complete story. TVC News, first with breaking news.
You're live at TVC News. Next, let's take you to Cross River State, where the Director General of the Youth Action Alliance is worried that the state is at risk of disruption due to the absence of a duly elected Speaker of the House of Assembly. Joseph Ode, in a statement, said without a validly elected Speaker, the laws passed by the House are invalid, hindering the Governor's ability to govern effectively. He confirmed that the impeachment of Elvat Ayambem was lawful, but his continued role as Speaker is not, because he wasn't re-elected according to the Assembly's rules. Director General said the Speaker cannot be chosen outside the House chamber. That is why he has approached the Cross River High Court to safeguard good governance and democracy. He wants the court to restrain Mr. Ayambem to stop acting as Speaker until the matter is heard and decided. We're still talking politics. The former Deputy Chair South of Labour Party, Callistus Okafor, says he is now in charge of the affairs of the party. Mr. Okafor hinged his declaration on a 2018 consent judgment of the Federal High Court, which he claimed hasn't been obeyed. Addressing a press conference in Abuja, he explained that the convention ordered by the judge wasn't obeyed, and it was on that faulty structure Julius Abure became the national chairman.
According to the Constitution of Labour Party, the leadership position of Labour Party, it says, in absence of the national chairman, the deputy takes over. We had a meeting and we have agreed to obey the consent judgment according to the Constitution of Labour Party. I take over from now as the acting national chairman of Labour Party. So today, Nigerians, I call upon INEC. I call upon INEC to do the needful now.
NSC play their part, all right? But the Labour Party leadership refused to yield to advice as to how to go about it. So, in my honor, I state emphatically in my honor that the consent judgment was never obeyed.
Very good.
What we try to do is we parry it, because as at that time the leadership did not take to advice. So, and there's no better time to obey that judgment than now.
Well, to Benue State, where the chairman of the Benue State Judicial Commission of Inquiry investigating income and expenditure from 2015 to 2023 has ordered the Accountant General, Ministry of Affairs, Bureau for Internal Affairs, and others to appear before the court, on the 14th of August and with records of receipt and expenditure. Maya Wakwato reports.
Parties and legal representatives led by the Solicitor General and Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Justice, at the inaugural sitting of the Commission of Inquiry instituted in February 2024 to probe the income and expenditure during the administration of the former governor, Samuel Otom, between 2015 and 2023. Members of the commission led by Justice Taiwo arrived for the inaugural sitting with an order mandating office of the Accountant General and other MDAs to furnish it with all records, as the Accountant General accepted to comply.
On the 14th of August 2024, all the local governments are to appear before the commission. And for the avoidance of doubt, these are: 1. Summary of income and expenditure year by year between 2015 and 2023. That is, how and where the funds came from and how it was expended.
We are going to start now and to make sure that at the end of our tenure, we will be able and eager to give account of that which we have done.
Solicitor General and the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Justice and the Nigerian Bar Association at the end of the sitting says justice must be served in the use of state treasury by government officials to ensure better life for the society.
Once you hold public office, you are going to be accountable after you leave. And at the end of the day, if the commission has successfully done its work, it is also hoped that government will realize some revenue which might have been diverted or misused along the line without any particular person in focus.
You cannot have meaningful development without knowing from where your resources are coming from and how those resources are being expended. Now, if in the past resources have come in and there are no basis or parameters by which they are expended, then we should begin to have them now. So the commission is a welcome commission of inquiry.
With the order of restraining the Commission of Inquiry from probing the income and expenditure of former Governor Samuel Otom set aside, the Commission says it is not out to winch on any individual or corporate entity. Mayowa Okwato, TVC News, Makadi.
On the Nigeria Local Content Development and Monitoring Board says it will continue to provide the enabling environment for indigenous companies to thrive in the oil and gas industry. And this was emphasized by the Executive Secretary of the board, Felix Ogbe, in Warri, Delta State. Joseph Kunde reports.
Looking to assist more indigenous companies in the oil and gas industry, the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Local Content Development and Monitoring Board, Felix Ogbe, pays an inspection visit to the headquarters of Lee Engineering and Construction Company Limited, based in Warri, Delta State. Incorporated in 1991, the company has grown to accommodate over 3,000 workers with vast experience and state-of-the-art equipment to execute major projects in the oil, gas and power industries. After inspecting the state-of-the-art workshop, the board is convinced the company deserves the needed partnership to thrive in the industry.
Thank you so much for employing so many Nigerians youth. Over 3,000 people have been employed. You say you employ here, and there's free room for more. We are here to provide enabling environment both with international companies and local companies. We want everybody to be a player and to be on board and to be able to have the opportunity to serve, especially Nigerian companies, to serve the country. I will say here, from what I've seen, I think I will collaborate with Lee Engineering and make sure that jobs you can do are brought to these facilities first.
A long-term advocate of local content development in Nigeria, the executive chairman of Lee Engineering, Limon Ikbia, appreciates the visit by the NCDMB board.
Before you see French company there, or you see Italian company there, or you see German company there, but it's Nigerian company. From A to Z, we have the cranes, we have the forklift, we have everything to execute any project. Because by the time the government say that Nigerian companies are being empowered, you are creating more jobs for people, and you are also earning foreign money that will be here.
The partnership with an indigenous company performing in the league of the multinationals only proves the readiness of the NCDMB to expand local involvement in the oil and gas industry. Joseph Kunde, TVC News, Warri.
And now the federal government has trained a total of 56 master trainers for the recently launched Universal Basic Education Effective Schools program in Oyo State. The Executive Secretary of the Universal Basic Education Commission, Hamid Boboyi, announced this in Ibadan during a 5-day training program for the participants. Senior reporter Olaide Oyewole reports.
This capacity building initiative is one of the federal government's efforts in addressing the challenges of the learning crisis and the high number of out-of-school children in the country. Master trainers were selected from states across the southern part of the country, including Kwara and Kogi State, and are expected to cascade the training to the teachers in 111 schools across the region.
We started with the Digital Resource Center in Abuja and the smart schools
in each of the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT. Having done that, we have started moving into our school system to see how do we make them effective and also upgrade them.
The UBEC boss reaffirmed the federal government's commitment to creating an environment conducive to providing functional basic education to Nigeria's school-age population.
We are engaging now. Our hope is that the state will take full ownership of this particular activity. We will support the state's quite all right, isn't it? But the state will take full ownership to be able to cascade, isn't it? What is learned here, isn't it? Into the entire system.
Selected schools have been equipped with ICT equipment with alternative power supply to enable technology-supported teaching and learning.
They started with e-learning centers, and these e-learning centers were established across the senatorial district. And I think this is what happens in the entire country, all over the states. So from that, they supplied us with a lot of gadgets that will assist this program. And as at this present moment now, the e-learning center are now being converted to effective school. That is, rather than being an intervention now, we now want to see it as a full-blown program. So it is left for us as a state and my other colleagues all over the country too, to ensure that we take it up from where the UBEC has taken it up, because they have actually given the lead.
The initiative aims to bridge gaps in learning and foster an environment where every child can thrive academically. Olaido Yewole, TVC News, Ibadan.
Outside Nigeria, funerals have been taking place for the victims of a rocket strike in the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights. At least 12 people, mostly children, were killed when a rocket hit a football pitch in Majal Shams. Israel has blamed Hezbollah, but the Lebanese militant group strongly denies any involvement. You would recall that at least 50 persons were killed in Israeli attacks on parts of Gaza on Saturday. Early on Sunday, the IDF said it had conducted airstrikes against 7 Hezbollah targets deep inside Lebanese territory. Israel and Hezbollah have been exchanging fire regularly since October, when the Israel-Gaza war began. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Hezbollah would pay a heavy price, but U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said he didn't want to see the conflict escalate. And according to the Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry, 66 Palestinians have been killed, with 241 injured over the past 24 hours due to Israeli operations in Gaza. And that's it on the news this hour. For more updates on the stories we're monitoring, you can visit our website, tvcnews.tv. You can also follow us on our social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, and on X at TVC News NG. On YouTube, we're live at TVC News Nigeria. Many thanks for watching. I'll see you again in the next 30 minutes. Bye for now.
See you. How you work hard at your craft, doing your absolute best. We know how the protein, calcium, and vitamins in Dano milk nourish you to go for it. For those big dreams, for your hustle, and for quality time with those you love. So when it comes to choosing nourishment, never compromise on the quality milk that you deserve. Go for it.
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in should not perish, but have everlasting life. In Proverbs 28 verse 13, the Bible says, he that covereth his sin shall not prosper. But whosoever confess them and forsake them shall have mercy. Unbelief is sin. Unforgiveness is sin. Selfishness is sin. I want to let you know pride is sin. Contention, strife, giving malice, bearing grudge, lusting after evil thing, covetousness, love of money, love of the world, insincerity, disobedience, blasphemy, anger, envy, speaking evil of other people, backbiting, murmuring, cursing people, swearing with heaven and earth. All these are terrible sins. You must confess them, renounce them, and promise God no more.
TVC News Weekend Lineup. TVC Breakfast Saturday with Kemi Fola Adeyemo and Emmanuel Ajayi. Political Standpoint with Precious Amayo. Newsweek with Mark Otabo. Politics and Sunday with Femi Akonde. Community Forum with Sarah Yeku. Get ready for the biggest stories, fresh perspectives, and burning news discussions that round up the weekend. Only on TVC News.
Voted as the best TV station of the year. TVC News breaks into the core of every event as they happen. Following all nationwide big and impactful stories. Without the news from every perspective. Covering every human angle. I am Veronica, bringing you the news you would want to watch.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
He is only 5 years old, but his talent is not. It is on a level many would strive to achieve, perhaps after a lifetime of learning. This is the story of Motorola Oluwa Emmanuel, who displays an unusual talent on two of music's most popular instruments in Nigeria, pianos and drums. No denying the fact that Motorola Oluwa is mature in the use of his fingers to create a coordinated rhythm that suits the eardrum. I first spotted him at a talent hunt program called Gifted and Sent, organized by the Guided Missiles Church in Lagos to celebrate creativity. Even there, he was the youngest, but his act delighted everyone. I got fascinated by his confidence and his skill and decided to take his story beyond the floor of the talent hunt. Ogudu area of Lagos is where the gifted boy spends more time to train himself. His family was so excited to receive me, but he was even more delighted.
Hello, how are you? Fine. Thank you. Yes, sir. Good to be here. Yes, sir.
As the best place to see him do his magic, I came to observe him in action and to hear from his parents how the boy started as a toddler. Born to an Ondo father and an Akwa Ibom mother, Motorola Oluwa's enthusiasm fascinated me as he offered to play the piano for me in his dedicated space given to him by his father's boss. I watched with amazement as he produced melodies. I tried to also see if I could make some sense out of my fingers on the keyboard, but Motorola Oluwa turned my new coach, quick to correct and teach me.
Play what you want to play. We are grateful. Hold on, you play. Motorola Oluwa Emmanuel has created a niche for himself as the youngest professional drum and piano child prodigy.
On the drums, the coordination of his hands firmly on the sticks and legs on the pedal to produce seamless rhythm was quite a spectacle. At every step, I watched him with rapt attention in awe as he sweated out on the drums. But how did the journey start and where is he headed with all the passion?
My daddy has it on a system. I will play with one stick, with two sticks. I'll just play 5-stroke rule. And I will not struggle. I will keep playing it. I can play flam, I can play butterfly, I can play 5-stroke rule, I can play 6-stroke rule, I can play rough, I can play watermark.
His trainer and some people have helped to inspire Motorola Oluwa as role models.
Getting to meet him and starting to train him, at first I wanted to start training him as a child, not wanting to show him complex things, But at the long run, I realized that after showing him the basic and going there to play complex things in the name of rehearsing so he watch, I then realized that, trust me, he's a very smart kid, like way smarter than I could imagine. So that was when I started infusing the complex things in him, and I saw that he executed them perfectly.
Rotimi Emmanuel is Motorola Oluwa's father. He makes a living as a sound engineer, and the Ondo State indigene explains how he discovered Motorola Oluwa's rare talent when he was just 5 months old.
I used to think it was when he was like 8 months, but then I saw the picture of the event because there's a story attached to it. And then we checked the date. It was actually when he was 5 months old. He could not sit by himself. I used to carry him on my laps. And then that period happens to be the time I was actually playing drums for a certain church. And it wasn't like I'm a good drummer. I was just looking at how to balance things up. So I started watching some tutorials so that I can meet up with my drumming. So whenever I'm watching my drums on the laptop and I happen to carry him in my hand, I notice he will just stop whatever he's doing. He's just focused, like he will stop moving, he will stop getting distracted. He's watching that video.
Esther Emmanuel is Motorola Oluwa's mother. As an educationist, she also corroborated her husband's statement of how Motorola Oluwa's gift has been a blessing to the family.
I noticed that at home, my pegs for drying clothes, he takes them and start drumming, and he will look for a surface, a metal surface that can make sound like that of drums. So you see him arrange metals. Sometimes he picks throw pillows, he puts them around, and he starts drumming.
Both parents are grateful for the bundle of gifts that God has given them in Motorola Oluwa and have tried to make him balance his passion with going to school.
When you allow your child to explore their talents, it opens their brain, not just to that one thing, but to many other things. He started reading books on his own when he was like 4.
When it's time for him to read his books, he reads his books. When it's time for him to do his homework, he does his homework. So there is no conflict at all with his gift and his schoolwork.
I also interviewed a pharmacist who has sustained his passion for music directing and instrumentation. Bola Fabiyi was one of the judges at the Gifted and Sent Talent Hunt program, where I first met Motirola Olua.
To take more than a desire at that level of childhood to do what he's doing. While he was playing the instrument, what fascinated me was that I didn't find the gaps. I wanted to see the childhood manifesting there, but I didn't. I saw the intentionality of getting his notes right, which does not come with childhood. So I called the father, I asked him, does he play? How do you balance your child being on an instrument and your child being a child?
When he comes, sometimes he drop the bag, back arm, run, open the door to the other side, sit down. He's there doing it. He's doing what he loves to do.
At that point, I was calm because I wanted to be sure it wasn't pressure either from the parents or from the peer group or from other influencers around him that is keeping him on, so he doesn't grow up to be a dysfunctional adult in the aspect of being balanced.
Music scholar Dr. Okpe Ashaolu believes Motirola has an unusual gift that needs to be properly harnessed and encouraged.
I could see a young boy with passion, with tenacity, and with a vision. It's like he knows what he's here for. He's called progression. Those called the movements were not just ordinary. So you look at it that a child who is so good at drums playing and who is also good at keyboard playing, it's not just ordinary.
Both Bola Onfabi and Dr. Okpe Ashaolu confess that his kind is rare. I needed to find out how he balances his gift with his performance at school.
When information got to me that Motirola Olua also displays his dexterity at the school assembly, I decided to come to see for myself. And to also know how he's able to manage between his academics and his talents.
See him on the drums even at school. I watched the various sessions at the assembly ground, after which I followed him to his class. Knowing that his mother teaches here, I knew that there would be a better level of supervision.
Motirola Olua, he's highly talented and he's intelligent. He does other co-curricular activities, especially drumming. In fact, he specializes in drumming. He's an expert. As a baby, most I begin to wonder how he learned how to drum. Also in the class, he does very well. He's brilliant, exceptionally brilliant.
Later, it was time for music session and his mother came calling. And we moved down to see how he would blend with others at school. Surprisingly, Motirola Olua, who has not officially started attending music classes, is better prepared for the task of playing with his seniors. His dexterity was also felt as he displayed on the drums and the piano. Mrs. Ame Peter is the head of school at the Redeemers Foundation School, Ogudu GRA. She confirmed that the boy's enthusiasm for musical instruments was noticed at a very tender age.
At the age of 2+, he was already trying, using several things, because we noticed that when it's time for drumming, he's very interested. He's interested to drum, even in class with pen. He can be drumming on the table and everything. And thank God for his parents who noticed his skill on time.
This discovery throws a light on the several other child geniuses I have showcased in the past. Nigeria has quite a number of them, and there are many more the world over who require special attention and nurturing by their parents and society to enable them explore their potential to the fullest. The Jacksons come to mind. But no doubt, Motirola Oluwa's gift is already making a way for him, and he looks forward to learning more musical instruments and to become a master of as many as he can. Ola Awakon, TVC News, Lagos.
This is the 93.6 kilometer Ilorin-Jeba Federal Highway. The first phase of its reconstruction was completed during the Buhari administration. It is currently being dualized. It serves as the major link road between the southwest and the north. As much as the highway is pleasurable to drive on, over 52% of accidents recorded in Kwara State happen on this road. According to the statistics from the Federal Road Safety Commission, out of the 307 accident cases recorded in Kwara State in 2023, 161 occurred on the Ilorin-Jeba Federal Highway, representing more than half of the total number of accidents in the state.
We discovered that speed is number one cause, and then we have the issues of wrongful overtaking, and then we also have the issues, the encumbrances of night journey that come with driver fatigue and poor visibility. And then we have other incidents of knockdown of pedestrians along that route.
The Okolo-Shao Junction axis of the expressway is the most notorious. This is because the expressway passes through these communities, and to cross over the highway is like a death sentence.
One of trailer is half accident, almost 25 people died, and 15 people is injured in the hospital. A series of accidents coming in accident Okolo. Please, I will try to plead to the federal government, state government. We need overhead bridges in Okolo Junction. Please, see the life of the people. Okolo is a battlefield of accidents for my people.
Between January and June this year, 61 crashes have been recorded, with at least 87 lives lost, including workers and students of the Kwara State University and other private institutions on the axis. Between last year and June this year, at least 15 persons have been knocked down while trying to cross to the other side of the road.
At times, as we were coming, some people might not even know that these trailers are coming. So before we even cross, some would almost touch us. So I will plead the government or advise them in providing these down blows for us.
Shegun Oke is a tricycle rider at Shao Junction. He has witnessed many fatal accidents, especially those trying to cross over the expressway.
This junction is always cause accidents for this junction, and we want him to help us to do this bridge, because always accidents was always happen for this junction. We beg government to come and help us for this junction.
After one of such fatal accidents, Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak of Kwara State was at the scene to sympathize with the surviving victims. He also re-echoes the need to have overhead bridges to prevent unnecessary loss of lives.
Well, I guess it's because it's a smooth, beautiful road. People overspeed. We need speed limit, speed control, and there's a need for continuous intervention on this road. For example, a flyover is needed to control the traffic, to reduce the traffic congestion at the intersection a few hundred meters from here. But the first thing is to say that safety is important. Drivers should control their speed.
It may not stop at just interchanges, but if we have footbridges too, that will cross that road, because definitely if you look at it, you understand that the express cuts across a community, and so definitely there will be a need for pedestrians to cross from one side to the other, either for market, for school, and for other purposes.
The highway passes through some communities, and this makes them to be at a higher risk of accidents and knockdown.
Ever since the reconstruction of the Ilorin-Jeba Federal Highway, there has been a steady rise in the cases of accidents along this corridor, and this is largely due to dangerous overtaking and overspeeding among motorists. And this is why residents of this community and of course motorists are appealing to the federal government to help construct interchanges and overhead bridges on major junctions, especially Okolo and Shao junctions. Ibrahim Alige, TVC News, Ilorin.
In the hustling and bustling of our daily lives, a simple act like crossing the road can be a risky endeavor. But there's a solution that is often overlooked: the zebra crossing.
Zebra crossing is a type of pedestrian crossing marked by black and white stripes on the road, indicating a designated point for pedestrians to cross the road. It is called a zebra crossing because of its resemblance to the black and white stripes of a zebra. Drivers are required to yield to pedestrians at these crossings, allowing them to safely cross the road. But many drivers ignore the rules, putting lives at risk. Do people know what this mark stands for?
No, I don't know anything about it.
I don't really understand about that.
The little I know about zebra crossing is a sign that governments keep for pedestrians, like people that are using leg to cross, and because of that, as vehicle approaching that area is supposed to, and that is should be, you mild your brake so that your motor will go gradually, so that if you can stop, if people or anything that is under this in there, you can stop for the person to cross, and after crossing you can move. Right?
Yes, it's to open the way for crossing, and when you are crossing, an oncoming vehicle should have the discipline to stop, because people who are crossing there, they are free to cross.
Zebra crossing, as the name implies, is a designated area on the road marked with white stripe